That's a high kill death ratio right there.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 188th episode of the GeekVerse podcast. I am Mr. Negative, Travis Snell.
I'm the Adam Park caster, Dylan Muss.
I am the sports title champion, Kirk.
Hey, congratulations.
Let's start the day off right, let's not bring up cheaters and conspiracy.
Alright,
Travis, come on. Settle down.
You're the only one who brought that up.
He brought the title. We don't need to talk about that. Let's just move past it. That's not important. That's not important right now.
Who else is with
We have
us?
3 other people.
We do.
Believe it or not.
I'm the Odyssey Taylor Field.
Uh-huh.
God.
Not Jurassic Park reference.
Not yet.
Surprise. Okay.
Could be.
Just
that's
wait
the,
for
that's the
June.
next
It's
movie.
too far away.
Dinosaurs in outer space. Can't wait.
Yikes. I'm Tyler Briggs because I don't have a name.
Let's go, Jessica.
Yeah, positivity.
Yes, ladies and
Alright,
gentlemen.
Taylor's the one that probably
I got
got that, okay?
We have the big 6 today.
This is
That's
a
fun.
rare occurrence.
The Sinister
This
Six.
is like our Infinity War. Every member... Actually, Infinity War would be the spin-off people came. This is like just a regular Avengers movie, but still, Avengers 1, not Age of Ultron, but Avengers 1, all 6 are here, so we got a lot of stuff. I'm going to bog us down at the very beginning with... I got a lot of plugs, because... I'm sorry, but next week is E3, so we're going to be going rapid. You know those casts where we're on time with everything like that. Speaking of, E3 is next week. It's just a week away. We're doing casts.
That's how it works.
I'm getting so much shit all over.
I asked for that one.
Will not. No.
E3 is a week away in 1 week. Anyway, redundancy.
We're doing a cast for the Saturday conferences, the Sunday conferences, and the Monday conferences. We'll cover Nintendo another time, but we'll be doing watch-alongs, we'll be doing podcasts. If you have not joined us previous years, we get in-depth, and it's a lot of fun, so please join us for all that coverage. It's going to be a good time. After E3, speaking of gauntlet titles, we have a team tourney match to decide who's going to the finals. It's Kirkland and Jessica versus myself and a mystery partner. That mystery partner... I'm not going to reveal right now. But it is coming, and we're going to wipe the floor with these two. Kirkland got a nice fluke win with that sports title, but me and my partner are going to be the team champions, so look out, making history again. Breaking bones.
I think I should spend the money to actually buy a Wolf Order shirt just to burn it on cast.
Whoa.
Ooh, that's...
I'd go halfsies.
Yeah?
They'd probably spin it, so that's what they wanted
Travis.
the whole time.
That would suck.
Aye.
Building Dynasty and breaking bones. That's what I do, ladies and gentlemen. Speaking also of, thanks Taylor, you can see me and Taylor are apparently friends again. There's a documentary, there might be a documentary about a breakup soon after this cast, I don't know. But this Saturday, Work Hard, Wolf Hard, the first episode of the documentary series about how Taylor and I got back together. It's very entertaining, check it out. It's not what, as Luke Skywalker would say, it's not going to go the way you think it is. Detroit review, me and Dylan will be dropping that sometime next week or something like that, I think on Sunday, so we should be an interesting cast.
It should be.
One of us loves it and one of us might not
Aye.
love it.
I'm just saying, maybe it didn't live up to the hype.
You spoiled
Perhaps.
which one was, that's why I was going with one of us. I was doing the friends.
But the thing is, my opinion might change because I'm going to do another playthrough. We're going to try to finish another playthrough before we do the review, so we'll see how it goes.
Nice. So that's coming. We have new retros coming out soon. We have Blade dropping soon, so that's our next Marvel retro. So we're gonna have some new people join us that. And then with Blade and the next one, we're doing Halloween because Halloween's coming out in October. That's our first non-comic booky retro. So we're doing that, and those will be releasing soon. But that's why you head over to Patreon because you can get those as soon as next week, ladies and gentlemen. And we've not recorded them, but I know they're gonna be a good time.
It's probably going to be like the Saw retro. If you like that, you'll probably
I guess
like
we
the
did do
Halloween.
that. Yeah.
Some retro's good.
Yeah,
That was fun.
Halloween retro is gonna be quite a scary thing. Not because the horror, just the quality of those movies.
I'm excited. I've never seen these movies before. So
Really?
I won't spoil it, but Paul Rudd is the main character in one of those movies. Legit.
Oh shit.
That's a pretty big spoiler.
Yeah, but you'll
How
just
good
watch
they
them.
put it on and then he's right there.
Yeah.
I know, but wouldn't the excitement?
But it can build.
I guess I don't know which one it is, and there's 100 of these movies, so
Mhm.
it might take a while.
There's 9 or 10. So
These are the first one.
So yeah, we got those retros. Other spin-off shows like Dynamic Doodles are dropping out.
That's a good idea. That's a good art
Just me and
project
Kyle
studio.
drawing for an hour like Bob Ross. I'd watch an hour of Kyle trying to draw something.
No pinky aliens in the sky. No, that'll just give it a nice Nice.
Get the GeekVerse green on the trees.
Dynamic Duo, Netflix and Fail, Spider-Man Retro, those all will probably come back in the fall because, to be honest, the retros, they do really good numbers for us, so also we got a lot of focus there, but also just with E3, Comic-Con, lots of movies, we don't have time to juggle everything, so those shows will eventually be coming back. It's just trying to find the placing of it, but shows that are coming back in the next week. Cantina Conversations is coming back with me and Taylor. We're going to be ranking our excitement for every Star Wars spinoff, so if you like hearing me and Taylor argue, I'm sure that's definitely one to tune into, because yeah. Hunka Hunka is apparently back. We finished our lawsuit with them. They're going to be back. We made some sort of
We've tried to keep them out, but
Yeah.
somehow they read all the fine print. They find how to make it back.
Yeah, but apparently they're back telling us why Infinity War is the worst movie of comic book history, so that's dropping next
Wild
week.
woes from these guys.
And then I hear rumors that a certain spin-off show might be dropping, Taylor, next week. Are you going to confirm this, or should I not?
I'm
throw
dropping
this out?
facts that Ruben isn't even aware of.
Well, that's why I'm not going to throw it out. That's why I'm like, you sure you can get it done by next week? Like, oh yeah, for sure. Like, Ruben doesn't...
I gotta
Like
talk
with the
to,
24-hour Raw or not, Ruben sounded like he didn't even know about it. So you're just like signing him up for shit. Like, what if he can't make it?
Yeah, well, he'll make it.
You
Now- now he has
It's
to.
24 hours to
He
play
has
with.
to
He'll
now.
make at least one of those hours.
Is he like your employee or something?
I think so.
I don't know yet. One of the two. So.
Okay.
No, yes, we're gonna try and get a pre and a post Geeks Creed in before E3 and after E3. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
We're
So,
on.
Nothing's
Robert-
stopping.
Yeah.
Big things are popping over here at GeekVerse.
And Arrested Development season 5 is out. I would like to talk about it, but I don't know if I'll have time really to watch it in the near future because of Detroit and other things. But if I do, I'd like to talk about it. Hearing not great things, which is kind of what I expected, but we'll see. Maybe there's some good jokes in there.
How many more plugs do you have?
5.
That would be it. So I know that was a lot, but we have legitimately,
Playoff.
if you like content in June, your feed's going to be fucking blowing up. We're literally doing now, Video Geeks Creed, 18 podcasts in 12 days, E3 coverage. It's going to be, it's going to be spicy like an enchilada.
Lots of spicy sauce.
So, one thing I'll plug out there is we got this. What? Did I say it wrong?
There's 2 ways to say it.
It's good to be back, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh.
This is how we do. If you don't like what's happened so far, just unsubscribe. This isn't for you anymore.
Hey,
you
then
know?
they're in for it.
So we got this really good Marvel kind of poll going on. You can vote, and it got really heated. I think out of so far, the Ant-Man Hulk one was the most heated. But it's on our
Oh, wow.
page every day. Quick rundown: 5:30 in the evening is when the new one goes
Pacific
up.
time.
Pacific time, yes. So the new one just went up recently. We're on villains right now. Malekith versus Ronan.
No, the most exciting one.
The unforgettable Malekith. Literally,
You make
Tyler
it
and Kirk will be for the cast. Like Malekith, like the Thor. Oh yeah, okay.
So yeah, be sure to check it out. Put your vote in. See who wins. We're in the first round right now.
Fuck everyone that voted Ant-Man. You're a bunch of imbeciles.
Did he end up winning?
Yeah, he
Yeah,
did.
he did.
By
You
two
know, I'm
votes.
not
You wanna know
that
why? You didn't vote.
Yeah, I didn't
No,
vote.
but that still wouldn't make a difference. We're still 1 vote ahead.
That
What
would
would've
have
been
been
a
a
tie?
classic
It would
tiebreaker.
have been tied.
And I still feel it's tied because I feel like Taylor's girlfriend didn't want to vote, but Taylor was like, you better vote, you know, like.
No, I worked all day.
That's true. I only have 1 vote. That's not fair. You
Yeah.
can't gang up.
What did your
I-
girlfriend vote for?
What? I don't know.
She voted against you.
Yeah, against me.
Oh,
So
okay.
another person that's just dead to me. All these Ant-Man people, like, what's wrong with you? Even you, Incredible Hulk versus Ant-Man the movie.
I
What
feel
are you
like he's
thinking?
being watered down now as a character. Like I like his story before.
Thor
but
Ragnarok
now-
was fucking amazing. What are you?
It was, but
joking
you know,
on.
he
I'm
just.
kind of amazed he didn't go for Paul Rudd, actually.
Well, I think the way, like, I like the
Dylan's not
the
biased.
storyline of Bruce Banner more, even though the Incredible Hulk movie is really bad. But
No.
what I said is that after Ant-Man
Fake
2
news.
comes out,
Fake
it'll probably
news.
sway it, but it hasn't yet, so I can't just throw it all in there on a trailer, you know? I'm not that kind of guy. Like,
Apparently.
Taylor.
other people, perhaps.
Yeah.
That's how it goes.
Well, let's get into the news. If you're not joined us for a newscast before, we're going to start with movie and TV news. We got lots to talk about. Then we'll get into some video game news. We'll let you know when we're switching over. Let's start where we left off the podcast last week. Just reviewed Solo, so you go check out our non-spoilers review. Love that movie. So Solo did not have the greatest weekend. It came in about 50 million below expectations. It was expected to make about 150, 170 million. Made about 104, I think, something like that. So.
Yeah, look at him.
So, and then obviously that has created a big conversation of why did it fail, and maybe what's next for Star Wars. And I say, Taylor, that we should throw it to everyone else before you and I go, because we might just get an endless loop, and they might just leave us and come
They've
back.
already gone into endless loops like various times in our group chats.
It's been
I think even
fiery.
And then we were just talking about getting our tickets for Jurassic World today, and they already started fighting each other. I guess they were getting warmed up today or something, but it was intense. I was trying to keep up and throw my opinion in there, but too fast. Like, these guys are on the ball.
I think I've been a little off because Taylor, I feel like you didn't necessarily fully support me in that sports title match. You're giving Kirkland a lot of props on commentary there, so.
Thank you, Taylor.
I've never seen two
fuck
teammates
him. He's
fight
not with
more than
us.
these two.
Fuck him, Kirkland.
We're gonna go to therapy. It's fine. Wolf Warrior for life, right?
Okay.
It's this,
Oh,
remember?
no, they can't even
my
do it.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
no.
we're gonna be fine. We're gonna be fine.
That's a fun
Just like
fact.
Han and Londo, we always come back together.
Londo.
Who wants to start off with why do you think Solo had a disappointing weekend, and what do you think next for Star Wars?
I'll start off. I think, well, obviously there's a bunch of reasons.
There's not specific. Yeah, we're not gonna talk any movie like specific plot lines or anything like that.
Okay, that's
Okay.
fair. I think one thing is its placement. It came out a week after Deadpool, not long after. Hey, simmer down. Nothing's even funny.
You felt like you were on a trial, like when they're like objection, you're like, okay, yeah, I'll sustain that, and then you like rephrase the question. Sorry, continue.
Its placement. So it came out a week after Deadpool. I don't know how Deadpool's doing pretty decent in the theaters.
Yeah. Didn't do as good as first one, but still doing good.
Mm-hmm. And then even what is it like about a month after Infinity War, which is one of the biggest movies of all time. So it's just kind of weird placement in general. I mean, I don't know. I guess a month after Infinity War seems like a decent amount of time, but I think for how much build up that movie has had over the years, that I don't know, it was still risky. And obviously those are both Disney, so they actively made that decision. So kind of strange, but I mean, I guess they even have Ant-Man right around the corner, so they wanted to split them up as best as possible. I'm not sure. But that's, certainly a factor. Another one is that, a lot of people didn't really want this movie. They didn't really want a Han Solo movie. Another possibility is, fatigue. We've been getting a lot of Star Wars movies, one every year for the last 4 years now. So, and even more on the way. So I don't know. Maybe people are, being more selective. I don't know. There's a bunch of reasons. I think it comes down to various factors. So.
I'm going to throw over to Jessica first because she's someone that hasn't seen Solo, and obviously I know you're busy, but I know there's more of a specific reason why. Cause I feel like you haven't seen Solo yet, right?
No.
And you would have seen it by now if you really wanted to, and that's why I was going to ask you next, why haven't you wanted to see Solo? Because most of the time we don't get to ask people why they haven't seen a movie because we have to see these great movies.
Well, so, I mean, I had no real interest, one, I guess, in a prequel about Han Solo. It didn't interest me, and I don't know, I wasn't super happy with Force Awakens. For me, I kind of left in a...
Force Awakens?
Or Last
Last
Jedi.
Last Jedi, yeah. So
Let's try Taylor.
And Rogue One probably too.
Yeah, Rogue One was meh too. So I mean, I didn't really have the hype going, and Matt didn't care if he saw it or not. He figured he'd watch it when it was on Netflix. So for us, it just wasn't worth it. So, I mean, it's exactly the fatigue thing. Like, just saw Rogue One, then go see The Last Jedi, and then this comes out. And this is about a character that I don't really care about, and it's a prequel with characters that don't really look like their counterparts, in my opinion, for some of them. And yeah.
So, because you guys both brought the fatigue thing, because I'm asking a question because I don't agree with it. Why can Marvel put out 3 a year then, and Star Wars can only put out 1? Like we've only gotten 4 Star Wars movies so far, and how come people would be fatigued where now we've gotten like 9 Marvel movies in the past 3 years?
Yeah,
now.
but I haven't gone to all of those either. Like I
Fair
didn't go
enough.
to Age of Ultron.
But those are Age of Ultron.
Well, no, I was gonna keep going, but then you didn't stop.
But
So.
I guess those are still being very successful, right? Like even if you're not, those are not having the same woes as far as like, oh, this one, like I don't.
Well, I think part of it though is like Star Wars is it's Star Wars, but if you go to like Ant-Man versus Thor versus Wonder Woman, which is another superhero, they're all different. Where Star Wars is okay, it's lightsabers and it's the same thing over and over. I'm good, you're not good.
Yeah, well, I think fatigue comes in because of the split opinions on the last 2 movies, right? That's that's more where it comes in, because obviously one a year is not compared to Marvel. But I think the other difference is that Marvel, at least, you know, for the most part, is moving forward. Like, the story is progressing linearly,
Yeah.
you know, in the future. Obviously, that's kind of going to change with Captain Marvel coming out being a prequel. But that's
But just like
really,
an exception. They do that every
Yeah.
once in a while. It's not like every year they're like, oh, we got this prequel.
Mhm. And then, like, a movie like Ant-Man, technically it is before Infinity War, I guess, but it doesn't really feel like it, you know? At least
Yeah.
the way they're slotting them. So, I don't know, maybe that's a difference perhaps, whereas Solo and Rogue One are both somewhere in between 3 or 4.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, if people want to see, like, the stories progress further forward, they're just going to wait and go see the 3rd movie in the trilogy.
Yeah.
Or maybe they want to see a movie, like, way back, you know, you guys talk about Knights of the Old
Yeah.
Republic, that
Mhm.
kind of time era, something like that. So I think that's potentially it, too. Like, I don't know, I think I go to these movies because of the podcast, but if not, I probably would have skipped Solo as well, because I just don't feel like I need to see this time era
Yeah.
that they keep going to.
Yeah, oh for sure. I'll 100% go to the next episode because I'm interested in seeing the story. But it's exactly like when I did see Rogue One. All these characters, I was like, I have no the fuck idea. Like, you're apparently a big part of some guy who was mentioned, and I'm like, I don't know who you are. Matt's like, oh yeah, it's this person. I'm like, no
Over my head.
freaking idea.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I think Solo would be the same. Like, I would know Lando and Han, and there we go.
Chewie.
You know, Chewie.
And Chewie,
Mhm.
yeah.
Well, it's those movies that, because, you know, traditionally me and you aren't the biggest Star Wars fans, but we still go to the episodes. Those are exciting,
Yeah.
you know, to see the story, everyone talking about them. But it seems like for people like us, like those side stories, unless it has a really gripping story, it's something we can pass on. I mean, I was excited to see Rogue One as well, but now that I think I kind of see like the way they're making these Disney movies, and they're not really all that different from each other, or Star Wars movies, I should say.
Yeah.
They're really not all that different from each other. So, like, what's the point of going to some of these spin-offs? You know, you don't need to see it opening night, and really, what are people going to talk about? Like, I don't know, there's obviously some things, but it's not like you need to be in on the conversation
Yeah.
day
No.
one.
Yeah, spoilers for this. I mean, I haven't even seen any, but I feel like if I saw spoilers for this, I'd kind of be like, oh, okay, well, that happened long ago. It's not going to affect the next episode in any
Mhm.
way.
Yeah. I still.
I don't
yeah,
really think there's many spoilers from the movie that would, like, ruin your... Like, I think you'd still enjoy the movie the same amount if you went to see it.
I
Not
think
that
that-
you would necessarily enjoy it, but you'd be at the same level as you would before.
I think there's one, but even like she refers to the spoilers already of like, well, we know where this ends up, you know, where it's like it's a surprising thing, but it's like, well, we know how this ends, so it's like, yeah,
This
it's
is-
cool.
yeah, that's true.
Briggs or Kirkland?
I think
Just ignore Taylor.
No, I'm saying
less so,
Taylor and I laugh.
less so fatigue, but more so sort of placement and just where it is. I guess placement and relevance to other movies. I think.
Do you mean placement physically, like the timeline in the movie, or the actual placement of like the movie coming out in May
Movie
instead of
coming
December?
out.
Okay,
I
yeah.
think
Because
for one,
I think that's
people
a
kind of
big
got in the habit of December
Christmas
Sort
Star Wars.
of, yeah, exactly. I think that's one thing. Deadpool and Infinity War coming out so recently. Also, I think the fact that it's solo and we, not necessarily as recently, but we still saw Han 4 years ago in The Force Awakens. So I think just having that kind of the fresher memory of Han as Harrison Ford, and then taking that and having a new actor as Han, I think that also kind of takes away from people's excitement because of how important Han's role as, Harrison Ford's role as Han is, and how much of an impact it had on that whole trilogy.
And you could argue he was probably I'd say the biggest selling point for Force Awakens. People can say
Mhm.
Rey
Yeah.
or Kylo, but they use Harrison Ford. Like that whole Chewie whole
Yeah.
moment, that was the moment that everyone's like, okay, Star Wars
Yeah.
is back. Like it
And-
wasn't Leia, it wasn't Luke, it was all Ford.
Yeah, and I think that's just such a big part of Star Wars, that to kind of so soon mix it up with that, bringing a new actor and
Yeah.
starting a new story for that character is just wild, and people don't feel like they need to see that right now, so
Mhm.
it's less interest.
Yeah, I feel like that'd be like the same
Yeah.
effect if they like recast like Wolverine right now, you know?
Yeah,
Like,
that's
they
a
just
good. That's a
finished
good.
with Hugh Jackman,
Yeah.
and then they bring in like a new character for that.
You gotta let it simmer for a
Yeah,
while.
exactly.
Yeah.
Like at least give it some time to get over. I agree with a lot of your points though. I feel like the placement between like Deadpool and Avengers, that's a big hit on that. I feel like for me personally, it's like the specific era of where the movie came out. Rogue One was what, in between episode 3 and 4.
Yeah, and
This one was
is
episode
two.
3 and 4.
Yeah.
Like if it,
And if Kenobi happens. then-
yeah, exactly. So like for me personally, I'd have a lot more interest to go see like an Old Republic movie, you know, like something we haven't seen before, or like we have, but like very very little.
Mhm.
Whereas this one we know where it's gonna end up.
We literally know where Han.
Yeah.
I think also a big part is the fact that it's like these Star Wars stories are marketed as more kind of one-off things, so there's no sense of kind of world building that's going to have a continuation. You
Yeah.
don't have like
Yeah.
you don't feel like you're missing out on an extended timeline like you would with Marvel if you miss a movie. So for this one, if people are happy with their Han Solo, then they can just be like, oh, I don't watch this, and it's not relevant to anything that really happens in the future.
Yeah.
Where there might be some cool story moments in there, but you don't really need them to enjoy the character fully.
Mm.
So I think that's another big part.
Yeah, and I think Briggs brings a good point because you can listen to our review. These guys liked to really like Alden Reich, and I was all right on him. But I think no matter how good he was gonna be, there's I think a lot of people that saw this and like it's not Harrison Ford, I'm not gonna go see it, right?
Yeah.
And even
Mhm.
doesn't matter, like they could take the Netflix approach, or there's just I'm not.
I think
gonna,
that's marketing as well. Like I don't think the
Marketing's
trailers did a
weren't
good
that
job. I think they could have shown a lot better stuff to show him as Han Solo.
And we forget the first trailer we got for this was Super Bowl in February, March, April, May. 3 months of promotion, not that much. For if that came out in December, then it'd be better. But in May is a big thing because like everyone said like, hey, they didn't want to put it in December because of Mary Poppins. Fuck Mary Poppins. Like if that was the decision, like I'm sorry, I've heard that so many times. What's gonna sell your fucking streaming app? Mary Poppins or Star Wars? Like, fuck Mary Poppins. Why are we doing this again?
Yeah, see, that's the thing. It was, you guys went to Solo around the same time that I went to Deadpool because I went late. But yeah, if it was between Solo and Mary Poppins, then I probably would have spent my money on Solo because...
Well, yeah, because Mary Poppins is a Disney movie, so apparently the reason is like they want to give it a big push in December, so they're like, well, that's why they couldn't move to there. But still, even then, maybe do a... It's tricky, because then if you go to June, July, you're close to Ant-Man and Incredibles, so there's all this stuff, but I think
I mean, the other problem with May is that you're just making it that much closer to Last Jedi, where people just saw a Star Wars movie recently, or maybe they're just... I don't know, it just came out on Netflix, or it is coming on
It's
Netflix
this
soon.
month,
Like, people
yeah.
are just seeing
Great
it at
timing.
home and stuff as well, so...
Yeah. And that's the thing, like, obviously, probably more reasons we talked about, but the thing is, every reason they brought up, I'm not going to add anything more, because it's kind of like Justice League, it's kind of like a perfect storm, where it's not just one thing.
Yeah.
Everyone's been looking for, like, oh, like, it's because people didn't like Last Jedi, or it's because it's in May, it's because it's Han Solo. It's just, like, all this shit happened at the exact same time to make this happen, and... The other thing is, too, is, like, this movie by itself could have been a success, but because they had to reshoot so much stuff, they got a budget of $300 million. They probably won't make that back, so it's the thing of, it's not gonna be a huge flop, but it's not gonna make them a lot of money. I'm sure it will over years of being on Netflix or their streaming app and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they already touched upon it. For me, it's just, I don't know. It is a safe movie. It's not anything that you have to go, and this is where I'm going to throw Taylor. It's not anything where you have to go and see. And Taylor, I know you said, like, oh, it does stuff to, like, make more for the characters, but even in our review, you said, like, hey, even Han Solo is all over as far as writing. Like, I don't think we learn anything new in that movie. And I think if you look at Last Jedi, which you, me, and Kirkland like, and we were talking about this in our group chat, but I'll say it for the listeners, like, okay, us like it, but, like, these people don't. And, like, I know other people that are, like, Kyle and Liam, that are hardcore Star Wars fans that don't like it, right? And Tyler, not that they don't like it, but still, it's not, like, up there. Rogue One, which is pretty well liked, but still had some mixed people. I know more people that don't like it than like it. And then Han Solo is this thing where it's, again, I always say this with Disney, they're not putting out Squad. They're not putting out movies that no one's going to say, oh, it's awful. It's just like, I don't need to see this. I can get around to. And that's where it's like, you say it's not safe, but look what Kirkland was saying, like, winner of the movies, 3 to 4, 3 to 4. And if Kenobi comes out, that's 3 to 4. Like, it's just the same. Even we talked about, like, that big surprise in Solo. It's like the same thing over and over. And I feel like before it was safe and they were making all this money and they're like, oh, we'll just keep doing that because it works. And now, which we'll talk about in a second, it's like, now that it doesn't work, there could be some change, which I hope there is. But I think they do need to change because the thing is, it's Disney. They're smart. They're not going to be DC. They're not. I doubt this is going to ever happen again, to be honest. They're going to look at this and they're like a fucking machine. They're going to figure out what was the problem. They're going to, if Kathleen Kennedy has to get fired and goes, she'll go after episode 9. But, like, they're smart. But, like, I just think that they kind of did this to themselves. Well, until you take over, because me and you have been going on.
Scrapping. I think the problem is people are, relating these anthology films too much to the episodic ones. I think the episodic ones, like I mentioned in the review, are for your average moviegoer fan who enjoys a good Star Wars movie and wants to tell the story. And then you have these anthology films which dive so much further and beyond that for your more in-depth Star Wars fans. I totally agree with a lot of the things you guys said. The timing of this movie compared to Deadpool Infinity War, not good at all. I think December totally should have been its release date. Fuck Mary Poppins, I'm with you on that. I'll go see the original, that's great. I think on top of that, the fan base, it was just so close to Last Jedi that a lot of the fans that would appreciate this movie were still really irked and hurt and upset from Last Jedi. I think there were a lot of these factors that were affecting it. And yes, that being said, I wasn't looking forward to a movie based on Han Solo leading up to it. And I full on, sorry Disney, apologize, I retract that now because I really enjoyed it.
I have a response to those. So that do you think maybe then that idea of these anthology films being more for the hardcore fans, maybe this is something. I don't think Disney would really make a big budget movie like this for their streaming app specifically, but maybe that's a better spot for something like this.
I think 100% that's what they should be doing is the streaming app. I think Boba Fett, do not release that movie.
But then is that risky? Because do you think that those movies get the same budget? I don't think they get nearly as much budget, and maybe people will be disappointed in it because that's what you mentioned is that Star Wars is always consistent in that it has pretty good soundtrack and really good visuals and cinematography, and those things are going to take a hit if you cut the budget a lot.
I think it depends when they release a streaming app, how good we see their other productions, like the live action TV series and stuff, and see how much money they put into those projects. Then I think it would give us a better idea, okay, if they do release a movie on there instead of theaters, what they're willing to do for that feature film.
I think they would give it a top-notch budget just to start competing with Netflix, because I think if they put out a Star Wars movie where it's this feels like cheap Star Wars, then it's I'm still fine with Netflix. The thing is, Taylor, I'm going to ask you, because you say, once again, with just the hardcore Star Wars audience, I don't know if that's the problem. I feel like the problem is, and I don't think they're bad movies, but the same thing with the fatigue. I feel like if these movies were pleasing, we were getting this argument about pleasing the majority of the fan base, people would want to go and see this. The reason Marvel, I think, is so successful is because they keep making good to great movies. And if you look at DC, they had Wonder Woman, but you had, Man of Steel, BVS, Suicide Squad, 3 movies back-to-back that were mixed to negative. And then when Justice League came, the big one, people were like, I'm not going to see this. And Solo, that's the thing where, I push back on you and you're, getting pissy at some of the fans. For me, with the fans with DC, it was okay, so there's these pocket of fans that really love these DC movies, and they're mad because every week there's some article about how your movies suck and everything like this. Where, this is the reverse where Han Solo still got reviewed really well. Up into Han Solo, they're all reviewed positively, but fans are still pushing back because, I'll get that in a second. Fans are pushing back, and it's all this stuff is going well, but don't you see that? To me, that shows that fans aren't happy when it's this should be the time reviews are great, box office great, but fans are this is not really what I want. DC, I understood why some people are getting mad because it's you're the little kid that keeps getting picked on at school, but
so then are the critics wrong? Is what you're saying?
No, but the thing is, you're the one that always say you can't make a movie for the critics, so it's
exactly.
But then that's what I feel like maybe Star Wars is doing, and then. For you, the reverse was always said you've almost been that fuck the critics guy, even though you're kind of technically a critic when we talk about these movies. The thing I don't understand why you don't get why the fans can't be displeased with a Last Jedi or a
No, I understand that they can be a little frustrated and upset because this is something this crosses over 3 different generations, our parents, us, and then a generation after us. I mean, this is a huge, very sensitive kind of franchise to a lot of people that grew up with it and are growing into it. So they have every right to be upset with it.
I don't think they just grow up and I get sensitive to it. I think there's reasons that they get sensitive to it. It's because the prequels fucking suck. That's why people got sensitive to it. I know you really like them, but it's not they put out these movies. The same thing with Force Awakens. I hate you and people that use that argument because it was 15 years before. Phantom Menace came out, everyone was fuck, that really sucked. What happened to George Lucas and Star Wars? But Force Awakens came out, and even Tyler and Dylan, who now are oh, it's alright. Even opening night, it's well, they still got them there. It's they loved it, right? Where Phantom Menace, I hate that argument of oh, it's just because the drought. It's no, it could BVS. I'm sure everyone was dying to see Batman fight Superman. That movie came out, I was what the fuck? Why is Bruce Wayne on a well floating around with bats? I think quality still matters here, and I don't think these movies are dirtbags, but
yeah, but Star Wars has so much anticipation attached to it because we were told no more Star Wars movies. This was it, and Disney buys it.
So that's worn off now. That's worn off. That was.
Yeah, but I'm talking about when Force Awakens came out, though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And now for Solo, that's worn off,
Yeah.
and especially because okay, if they were to put this $300 million budget into a standalone Star Wars universe with characters I've never fucking heard of doing their own shit, cool. I'll go see that. But, like, I already know the storyline. I already know what's gonna end up where he doesn't die at the end. I know there's no big, the big surprise. It's not, whatever it is, it's not gonna matter because I know he's in the next fucking movie.
But I don't mean the hype is still there coming over onto this movie. I meant just Force Awakens.
But
Because it was a long time period, and the fact that Disney bought it and they were telling us we're going to get Force Awakens and so forth, that hype at the time is what made that movie sell so much bigger than it did.
I think it made it sell, but the thing is what makes it from just getting a big opening number to carrying on being the third biggest movie of all time was the quality of it. Force Awakens is really rewatchable, and it hit like kind of that 4 quadrants, like it's for everybody. Like, hang on a second. The last thing is before you throw them, I still feel like Last Jedi had that hype of we're seeing Luke Skywalker for the first time. So I still feel like there was hype going Last Jedi that, to me, proves that it is still about quality. And I like Last Jedi. I defend it a lot. Not the Canto Biden Rose stuff. But, like, with Last Jedi, I still feel like there's so much hype of, like, oh, Luke's back. So to me, I don't think you can use the argument of, like, oh, hype for Force Awakens made it, like, bulletproof, but then hype for Last Jedi's not there. Like, I feel like everyone was, oh, I can't wait to see Luke Skywalker, and then afterwards, like, oh, like, that's what they did with Luke. Like, I feel like it was more of a writing thing than the hype went away. And now I think the hype's gone away because the movies have been coming out, but they've been coming out being divisive. Like, I'll give Rogue One the edge because people really like that, but Last Jedi and Solo, they're both, like, just mixed. They're both, I won't even say good or bad, they're just mixed, Now point at Dylan and whatever you're trying to recruit
Do you
him.
think that Force Awakens has a lot of good replayability, like rewatchability?
Well,
He's picking the one guy. Why didn't you pick Kirkland or Jessica, who also
yeah,
likes
this is kind of
Force
biased
Awakens?
because
He's picking the one guy
every time I've watched Force Awakens, I've probably seen it like 4 times now, which is, I mean, you've probably seen it 100, so not comparable at all. But every time it's kind of gone down a bit. And obviously, like, the excitement of going to see it opening night, after all the anticipation, after we've been talking about it on podcasts forever, and we got those amazing trailers that were like, what the fuck is going on in this movie? We're so excited to see it. Like, that, I think, is a huge part of what made that movie so good for me the first time I saw it. And every time I saw it since then, some boring stuff or characters I wasn't so much of a fan of, like, those things kind of bring it down. But don't get me wrong, it's still a lot better than Han Solo. It's still a lot better than Rogue One for me and Last Jedi. It's still the best out of all of these movies. I think they've just steadily gone downhill, really. I mean, I think Han Solo, I probably like it a bit more than Rogue One, but I think that's hopeful because I think there's some ideas in there that maybe something they could play with in the future that I kind of like the idea of, but really for a standalone movie, it's on par with Last Jedi or Rogue One. What was I going to say? I was going to say that, so the quality of it obviously is like mixed, but some people really like it, some people don't. And, obviously for Taylor, I think 2 things really stand out. One is that it has a lot of stuff that's like, from the animated show and other things, or not a lot, but it has some things that the hardcore fans are going to like more naturally than the people who haven't seen that stuff. But also, I think a really important point is that to you, a big point for why you really liked it is that, once again, for you, it felt like Star Wars, and you got that anticipation, that hype moment, where it just really felt like Star Wars for you, and that wasn't universal for everyone, especially Travis, because, obviously the guy who's playing Han Solo doesn't feel like Han Solo. That's a big problem.
Yeah.
So if you're going to a Star Wars movie, it doesn't feel like a Star Wars movie, that's kind of a problem. I think that wasn't a problem Last Jedi had, or really even Rogue One. Han Solo is quite a bit different, so we'll see if that problem persists, and it just doesn't feel like Star Wars. That's important, because people have been, it has like such a crazy fandom to me.
Yeah.
Or I mean, in general, it does. It's just I don't know. I guess that's kind of dying out a little bit, perhaps.
Well, that's why I think like Dylan can admit that he might be. I think he can admit like Force Awakens, you feel like you're in the minority. Where there are people like you that have watched it and like it less, but I still feel like that movie. The bigger percentage is in the light camp, right?
It's hard for me to say because a lot of people, when they talk about Force Awakens, they're just like, oh, it's the same as New Hope, and then they say nothing else. And it's like, okay, well, yes, it's similar, but like, does that mean it's bad? Like, they never really go farther than that. So it's hard for me to tell exactly because I hear that way too much, and it's like kind of annoying for me because it's like that's not really a conversation. But.
And with Rogue One, I can go, okay, I can see a lot of people liked it. Not people I know personally, but like a lot of fans will not say it's one of the better, maybe the best Star Wars movie, and I can get that. But then
it's been said before.
I think because you were bringing this up in the group chat, like what majority do they go with? Because Last Jedi's mix and Han Solo's mix, I don't think they go with the majority. I think they just try to please everybody and make it that, okay, if Last Jedi wasn't for you, then Han Solo's hopefully for you, and that's what the next one should be, because we talked about like the timelines, there's not much new. It's the episodes and it's all the stuff about characters we already know. Rogue One, we already knew they're gonna fucking die. I know for months you said they're not gonna die, but like in your heart you knew they're gonna die. We know all these people. We know Han Solo's story, and guess what? They didn't really help adding to it. This movie didn't do anything good for Han Solo. So that's the other thing where it's like with Obi-Wan, I really want Obi-Wan. I'm kind of getting scared now. Like I don't know if I want Obi-Wan now because I thought, oh, there could be a great story about him in the desert or whatnot, but now it's like, I'd rather just go somewhere else and do nothing that I know about, you know? Like, that's what I want, and I think that's where they have to make different movies. And same thing with, like, they got Boba Fett out there and Obi-Wan and Rian Johnson, but they haven't, like, announced these things, or they haven't said officially what it is. They just say, oh, Rian Johnson's making 3 movies. It's like, what is that about?
We don't know when.
He's making 3. It's like, and I don't think that's going to happen anymore, because Last Jedi was the start of all these problems, and I don't know if the guy who made Last Jedi, if they're going to be like, hey, and he's making 3 movies now.
That was a super bold thing for them to announce.
They thought people were going to fucking love Last Jedi, and that's why, and this is my last thing I'll throw to you, because you wanted to talk about, like, Lucasfilm not being the problem with fans. That's where I disagree, because we talked about this in the review where Kevin Feige and Marvel had this plan. They clearly did not have a plan with Force Awakens Last Jedi. The people that made Force Awakens and the people that made Last Jedi did not get in a room together and really map this thing out, because Last Jedi just completely, like, kills a bunch of storylines from Force Awakens, and that's where I feel like it is the problem with Lucasfilm, that they're not planning this out really. They're just kind of like, okay, Han Solo, he's popular, we'll do that. And Rogue One, okay, Death Star, Darth Vader. I feel like Rogue One had some merit, but the thing is, like, they're not planning this out. They're not, even with the cameo, you heard about the big surprise cameo, they didn't have that decided. They just put redacted in there, and they had a list of other characters it could be. And it's like, that's not planning at all. The director came, oh, it should be this character. Okay, cool. Like, that's the problem. They're not.
Looks cool.
Oh, yeah, I don't want to spoil it, but like that's the thing of like, they're not planning this out, you know? Like that's where I put it on Lucasfilm and Kathleen Kennedy, where it doesn't feel like there is a goal to get to anywhere, and that's where I disagree with you when it's the fans like, oh, I want this. It's like, that's why I'm so thankful JJ is coming back, and I wish he did Last Jedi, because Last Jedi, I like stuff with Last Jedi, but at times it doesn't feel like a sequel to Force Awakens. It feels like
coherent.
Yeah, and that's on Lucasfilm. When you say, oh, the directors didn't have this clash, don't matter. They've had 4 different times where they've got rid of directors now. That to me is starting to be a reoccurring problem, and something has to change. And like, I don't want to be that guy and say, oh, this head honcho woman should lose her job, but like, that's the route it's kind of should go soon, or something should change up a little bit.
You give me an idea for an analogy.
Oh boy.
So
Here we go.
Oh, you set it up too. It's a good one.
So, you know, you have the RCMP and everything like that, right? So
Which for the Americans,
Yeah.
is
They're
our
police.
force.
They're just police. They're our robot detective unit.
So you have just the regular Joe Blows out there that, you know, some of them don't.
Okay, who are Joe Blows?
Are this part of the
Joe,
police force?
Joe
is what you're saying?
Blow, John Hancock, John Doe.
No, but I mean, are those like
Will
citizens,
Smith.
or are those
Yeah.
like okay?
Okay.
I don't think when you say Joe Blow. Okay, go ahead. Fair enough.
Yeah. So they're just,
Yeah.
you know, they're living day to day and they think they're top shit and they know what's what. They're making their own laws, you know.
Are these the Star Wars fans?
These are
Some-
criminals.
Wow.
Some of
Wow.
Some of them. And then there's other people out there, you know, they live like very basic lives, but you know, they want to get involved in the community and they have very positive outlooks and stuff like that, you know. And then, you know, these other people that throw garbage on the walls and stuff, you know, they're triggering the police. And the
Garbage on the
police,
walls.
the RCMP is Disney. They're trying to, you know, set a boundary and everything, but these people are just unhappy with nothing, no matter what, and they keep pushing the fence.
I
further
disagree,
and further.
because Force Awakens and Rogue One I think are a big thing for that. I don't like Rogue One that much, but I know a lot of people were happy with it. Force Awakens, a lot of people were happy with it. Last Jedi, people were not happy with it. Most people I meet did not like it or whatnot. They had their problems with it. And Han Solo is just this mixed movie. And even if it's mixed, no one wanted it. So that's where it's like, I don't think it's like they're putting out all this good stuff and people are just like, fuck Star
I know,
Wars.
I agree, but I'm not saying it's like that. I'm saying that there's a right way and a wrong way to do things. You have the group of people, the fans, that are just being so aggressive and not helping the situation and giving Disney obviously the feedback that they want. And then you have a small minority of fans that, you know, like some of the movies, dislike the other movies, but maybe they're a bit more silent, or they're trying to put out their thoughts but are being drowned out by so much negativity from all these really aggressive fans.
I disagree. We are a very small portion of the internet. Anytime we post a DC review, it always gets somebody saying something bad about us, whether it be Twitter or the review or whatnot. as far as other than Dylan sleeping through Rogue One, when we gave Rogue One a negative review, or Last Jedi negative reviews, or Han Solo, I've yet to get that "fuck you, you don't know anything, you pussy," like anything like that. Like,
Because we attract a positive crowd.
yeah, but like, we got that with
No.
we know, but
No,
we got
DC movies.
we got that with DC, and that's where I feel like with you, obviously there's gonna be some asshole out there that's ruining it for everybody, but I feel like people, like I know you're probably referring to people that are like boycott Solo. They're allowed to do that because if they're, how else are they supposed to? They can't get a meeting with Kathleen Kennedy or Ryan Johnson.
Like we can.
So JJ's on her phone. That's what I'm saying. Great, trust me. No, but like, so the only way to show, hey, I'm not happy with the way Star Wars is going, is not to go to Han Solo, or is to say, hey, I don't like the direction they're going. Like, I'm not supporting you, like the fans that are, they go to name calling and go that, but I feel like there is a good portion of fans that aren't happy with what's happening, and maybe it's because they feel it's being Disney-fied. I don't know. I feel like it kind of is at times, but what are they supposed to do then? Are they just supposed to sit there and take it and be like,
I think it's a good thing that Star Wars isn't invincible anymore. And you have to earn it.
And that's I think the scary thing for them up there, because I thought Star Wars was always going to be, and I remember before the week when I said, oh, it's not as bad as Justice League, and then the next morning, lower opening Justice League.
Also, I want to say that there's a big difference between a vocal minority and a movie doing like 30-40 million less than projected on opening weekend.
Yeah, that's where it's like that's where I think with Last Jedi it was it's tough because Last Jedi was so big, but it's almost like the repercussions of Last Jedi showed that, and I don't think that's the main thing. I don't think everyone saw Last Jedi as like fuck Star Wars forever, but I think some people are like, yeah, I'm done with Star Wars for a little bit. I didn't enjoy that, so.
The people who are going to boycott it are obviously the ones who are going to be the loudest and going around and maybe
and probably
perhaps they'll sway some other people's views. Maybe they'll even throw some like false facts out about Solo and how it's going to be so bad that they shouldn't see it. People are going to do this stuff, and it's going to be those,
a lot of the people that I hear that dislike Last Jedi, though, like what they say is, that's not my Star Wars. It's not like they're saying, oh, fuck Star Wars forever.
Yeah. Well, that's where it might be better for them to get away from
for a few months.
It might be better for them to get away from the characters we know, because like everyone doesn't want to admit, but the biggest thing is everyone just hates what they did to Luke Skywalker, like some people, right? With that camp, and that's where if they start doing these movies where it's Joe Blow number 2. We don't care Joe Blow number 2 because we don't know him, right?
Well, yeah, he's a citizen.
You can do anything you want.
Mark Hamill, like I don't like what they did with Luke. It's like that's not what you want.
And that's the thing where it's like
you don't want your guy who loves and has lived his life off Star Wars to be shitting on what they did with his character.
And then when
that movie, man.
And then that's why I asked you, Taylor. Then what are fans supposed to do then, in your opinion? Because for you, sometimes you make it sound like they're just not supposed to talk at all. Because you just unabashedly love all these movies for some reason. I don't know. Like I know I'm happy you're positive. Sometimes I just
except for Jigsaw.
Except for Jigsaw. But like, what are they supposed to do then? They can't just sit there and be quiet. It's their fan base too.
They can't sit there and be quiet.
You say they can't?
They can't.
Oh, like you fucker.
No.
You can sit there and shut your little mouth.
No.
See my Star Wars
movies.
movies.
That can't happen. So I think they have every right to voice their opinions. The one thing that it's.
Because every time in the group chat, you take shots at some of these fans. You call them whiners and whatnot. But it's like, they're allowed to say this because, like, then I'm a whiner because, like, I don't like what's happening with Star Wars. I don't want it just to be like.
I think Taylor had a taste of the dark side when he started shitting on DC fans. He was like, I kind of like this.
Yeah. I just get triggered too easily.
Feels good to be bad.
But no, I think for me, it's very, very hard being put in this situation. I feel like, all I want is for, at some point, people that are Star Wars fans, yes, I get that. If they don't see the movie, it sends a very good message. And you're right. It shows that Star Wars isn't invincible. And no company or production should be looked at as being invincible because it's not true. They aren't.
Cut the check, Feige.
Cut the check, Feige.
18 movies thrown. Let's go.
Nuts, dude. How does he do it?
They don't get paid if we are enjoying the content and giving them the money. So we send the biggest message. I 100% agree with that. At the end of the day, though, I wish there was a way that people, if they still want to boycott it, then that's great. But if there's that what if that maybe if they would have ended up really enjoying the movie, but we'll never know. I guess that's the one thing I'm hung up on. but then
That-
again, that's on me.
But that's where I can counter you with Wonder Woman was not DC's biggest opening, but it had this thing where it ended up being the biggest DC movie because it had a good opening, but then week after week it kept making lots of money because word spread of like this is a really good movie and people went to see it or see it. Look at Black Panther. Black Panther in North America, no one talks about this really, is bigger than Infinity War. Like it's gonna end up having more money than that. Infinity War because it has China and all this, but like that's because Black Panther was so strong. People kept going and seeing it and seeing it. That's where I think if Solo came out and it was phenomenal. People like Jessica and Matt would go see it, or people that had to be like, oh, if you have to see it, even if you know what happens to Han, like, still it's a great movie, then people go and see it. And I think that's the thing, they're making decent movies, but decent movies aren't going to get them these results. I think Episode 9 is going to come out, it'll be fine money-wise because it's an episode number. But that movie, again, I love the guy, but I feel so bad for him at times. I don't feel bad for him because he's making Star Wars, but like Episode 7 comes around, JJ has to like re-bring back the franchise. He's coming in like maybe the second most vital part of Star Wars where the fan base is literally divided with some people wanting this and some people wanting that. And now he's going to have to like bring everyone back together. You know what? I have faith. This JJ, he's going to knock out, he's going to surprise everybody. He's going to make a great fucking Star Wars movie.
Did you guys talk about this on the cast, like when you reviewed it? Because I have no idea what the fuck's going on still, and we've been on for like half an hour.
I have one more thing, and then we can move on. I think JJ. I don't think
Always
there's
comes
any.
a time when Jessica's sick of Star Wars.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't
next
think-
story's a Star Wars one, so.
Well, that you know what? That's
It'll be
we'll
quicker.
get
It'll
to
be quicker.
Pokemon eventually. but-
Yeah, eventually.
I don't think there's gonna be
You'll take an
any.
hour.
Yeah. I don't think there's gonna be any problem at all whatsoever with Star Wars 9. I think JJ's gonna sail through the sandy.
Three
Just
whole
sail
months.
through it, no problem. He writes the script in a day.
I think he's gonna have a great. I think that the next anthology film is where they're gonna put lots of thought and they're gonna screen the shit out of it. Kathleen Kennedy may get benched. I don't know, but they're gonna
wow.
really.
She won't get benched. She will leave on her own accord. It'll be a nice they won't fire her. Just like we've decided to
You
part
gotta
ways.
go.
Yeah.
But it's tough with that because it's divided. But like she's made 3 movies that made $1 billion with Last Jedi and World One and everything like that. But I guess the other thing with because this can transition to our next story with the anthologies. I agree that has the next one and this where the next story. Taylor, you can start because you're gonna say it's so great. Is Boba Fett the way to go then? So you go Episode 9. What
I thought you were setting up that the movie's called Boba Fett, The Way to Go. Like that was
yeah, they officially announced Boba Fett. The way to go.
That's
Or
even
Star Wars
worse than the Crimes
Star
of Grindelwald.
So like for you, I'll start because you're a big defender. But like that was rumored last week, and that was when everyone was even people were mixed on that before Han Solo. But now it's even more so of like I don't know what's gonna happen anymore. But it's Boba Fett. What do you picture as the first anthology? We got Episode 9, and then we need another Star Wars story. And the rumor is now we're back to 1 a year. They were gonna try and get to 2. They're like, no, we're not doing 2 a year right now.
This is where it's tough, and I'm gonna be completely unbiased here, but
we need a Boba Fett movie.
I personally, if you ask me, yeah, give me that Boba Fett movie, 110%. Now that being said, it all depends. Now with how Solo went story-wise, and me who loves the story, I would love it because I could see them obviously connecting the dots and attaching it story-wise, having nothing to do with Solo, but moving on with Boba, but bringing over the same characters.
Mm-hmm.
And then that goes off. Maybe they'll do it with Obi-Wan. Who knows? I don't know. If that's what they're wanting to do, then yes, I will accept that. I'll love it because I love the story. But as the next anthology movie, I would want something out of the time period, separated, and a different character.
Out of like Episode 1 and where we're at now, like 8. Like I want something totally different, Even if it's in the future, like they could just make brand new stuff up.
Well, yeah, the future or at least adjacent to what's happening in our world right now.
Yeah.
Like there has to be some movie, and I guess we also could say Soul, but there has to be some movie like Logan. I don't want to be Boba Fett, because we'll talk about that, but like some movie where it's just about these characters have to get from point A to point B. They don't go to fight the Emperor, they don't go to fight the galaxy. Like people have to be having other problems in the Star Wars world, right? But it's always like world-ending stuff. Like I want to see like some guys fighting over, I don't know, a cow. Like I don't want that, but like I want to see some small issue.
Well, it could be at the same time. Like they could mention, that this is going on over at that world.
Mhm.
It doesn't have to be the same characters though,
Yeah,
and
totally,
they don't have to make it in the future. So eventually it has to connect or
Yeah.
anything like that. But
Like if they make a movie about Canada right now, I would think it's not going to be about like what's happening with America and North Korea right now, right? Like Canada has its own issues and problems. Thankfully, nothing like that. But there should be some of that, even though like the First Order and the Resistance are fighting, we have our own issues over here, And that, I think the Boba Fett thing's tricky. They're great in Star Wars. They cock tease you all the time because like I'm like, Boba Fett, but then like the guy from Logan's gonna write and direct it. It's like, well, now you're stuck because I'm in a rock between a hard place. But I don't.
You're in a rock.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate. I bumped into
That's a
a
real pickle.
I bumped into a wizard and he really fucked me up. But I think unless the curveball they throw is that happens after Return of the Jedi and Boba Fett's alive, I think they need to get out of that period. And I don't even know if that movie's gonna actually happen anymore, and I honestly don't know if Obi-Wan's gonna happen anymore, because I think they might look at the movies with OG characters and be like, we need to step back for a bit.
Maybe that Revan movie.
But it depends. Like, are they gonna look at these characters in that sense, or are they just gonna look at, you know, not going this far with directors and scrapping them, you know, doing a better job quality-wise, planning-wise, not back-to-back with Avengers 4, all this kind of
Well, that's
stuff.
what they have to decide, and I don't know what they're gonna pick. Do they be, hey, we're gonna do like a solo type movie again, but we'll do it better this time, or do we do something completely new? Because I think there's still, you could have made a great solo movie. It didn't happen for me,
Yeah.
but that's what they kind of have to decide right now, what direction. And I don't know which way. I don't know. I don't know if you announce stuff right now. I don't know what I think right now you just go quiet for a while until episode 9's around. You do that. Before I want them to announce stuff, but I think now you kind of like take the brakes off for a little bit, you know? And plus maybe they're making that live action TV show, do episode 9, then just do the TV show. Do that and like have that be a thing for a while and then get to the movies. But it's tough because the app's coming, right? And they want Star Wars to be as big as ever. If they want to compete with Netflix and Hulu and Amazon, like they paid $8 billion for Star Wars. It's not going to be Fantastic Four for Fox where it's like, it didn't work, let's just leave it alone, we'll eventually sell it. Like they can't let Star Wars die. And I don't think Star Wars is anywhere near dying, but it's like they got to make it as strong, like consistently strong, you know, like somewhere in a Marvel call they're even a little lesser, and I don't know.
Well, they got a lot of time till Star Wars 9 right now, over a year.
Yeah.
So I think that's, you know, most of it'll be quiet, you know, until the trailer drops way down the line. So
That's gonna be really interesting what the fans are like. What about you guys over there as far as just Boba Fett? Because that one came out before Solo.
Mm-hmm.
And once again, not officially announced, but that was the rumors. And the rumors was, the guy that James Mangold, who did Logan, he was going to write and direct Boba Fett.
I think Taylor's kind of hyped it up for me a little bit, honestly. And I think a storyline, you know, it doesn't have to be about all this other Star Wars, you know, Galaxy Empire, all that baloney. Just make it about like a group of bounty hunters. Like that could be really cool. And Boba Fett,
Yeah,
you know, obviously Boba Fett's kind of like really has a small role in movies when you think back on it.
He's a
character. But I still remember playing him in the Lego Star Wars video game and just popping off with Boba Fett. He's an awesome character. He looks super cool. I shouldn't say he's an awesome character, but he looks great, and that's a big part of it. And I don't know. I think the idea of a Boba Fett movie is inherently a lot more interesting for me than Rogue One or Solo. But obviously, it doesn't have a great track record right now, so I wouldn't go in super hopeful. But the idea alone, I don't know. It's interesting enough. I mean, even though it's such a basic character.
Yeah.
I think I think there's a lot of potential to do something interesting with it. Just will they? It's hard to say.
I feel like the reason he's such a basic character though is because of what we've seen in the past, right? Like they can make him awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but we also said that about Phasma as a force.
It's a great opportunity for them to
I
finally
was
make
never
a
hyped
darker
about
movie.
Phasma. I was never hyped about
You
Phasma.
were hyped about Phasma before.
Never.
You were.
Awkward.
That's a bullshit.
Okay, I was okay.
Come on, there's no way. Everyone saw Phasma and was like, boom, that's the next Boba Fett.
You
And
see her in
she
the trailer,
is.
you
She's
can see
a
her face
she's
reflected
a
in
terrible
it.
It's
character that
actually
looks
very
cute.
accurate how she is.
Yeah,
she
and that's
is
the thing.
Boba
Like
Fett.
everyone has like
I probably
rose
said that.
tinted glass and rainbow colored glasses.
Rainbow-colored
When it looks at Boba Fett, but Boba Fett does nothing in the original trilogy. He stands there, he says a couple lines, and then he falls down a fucking hole and he's dead. And that's the thing. Like. Do we want to know how he got his name? Do we want that again? Like everyone says, oh, like
we already know how it goes.
Yeah.
no, but you know what I'm referring to. Like, do we want that type of shit in a Boba Fett movie where people love him because he's a mysterious bounty hunter? Do we need to explain like where he got his fucking sneakers from?
No, we don't need
I
any
mean,
of that.
Well, what did
Mandalore-
happen in Solo?
Mandalore has a lot of
was
really
not
cool
following
stuff
what you're
going on.
saying.
Yeah.
Other than his
Oh,
fucking
oh.
briefs, we found out where Solo got all his shit.
Yeah, but they're not gonna. I don't think they would waste time doing all of that stuff.
That just
No,
happened
did it on
with
Solo.
$300 million.
We already have.
They just did that.
No, but we
Last
already
week, same time we were
have.
talking about it.
It's true.
We already have his basic origin in the prequel movies. This is already gonna be him established up and everything.
But I would say not necessarily his origin. We
We just know his dad got his head
We know
cut off
that-
because
As
of
a
him.
clone, we know where he came from.
Yeah,
This is
but
gonna be
we
him
don't
down the
know
line.
how he got to be the
Why is his
bounty
armor
hunter that
green?
he is.
Yeah, but that's something that.
That's-
We don't know
that's
how
gonna
he's
play
the
the
last
flute.
Mandalore.
I don't know why.
That's what they should call him, maybe the last.
I don't know why they
I
call
don't
him the last
think it's-
Mandalore because he's
yeah.
definitely not.
It
But
isn't, but
I mean, there's so much stuff they could tap into, but Then again, this is something
And
that
the
they're gonna
next
do
thing.
quality-wise after Solo. They're gonna look at all of the stuff, and they're not gonna make that mistake again. They're not gonna be like, "Oh, here's how you got your E11 blaster." You know, they're gonna skip that stuff.
I do think that's a good point that they had like Disney would be better at learning from their mistakes.
I think they
say
would.
Disney for example, or
They're
sorry,
smart.
DC for example.
Disney would be better.
I-
Disney.
That's a big
So
reason.
close.
I'm actually really excited for Boba Fett, whatever they do with it. One, because the writer is the guy who wrote Logan, but I think it's with it has a lot more creative options available to it. For one, because there's absolutely like considering there's no canon, they have the freedom to do practically anything. They can do it after even he falls in the
Jedi,
Sarlacc
yeah.
pit. They could do it between the time when Django dies, or they could do it even after the new trilogy, or maybe they can't. Maybe he's too old now, but
I'm still
they
thinking
they
Jar
have
Jar.
an
Well, 'cause some
exceptional amount of options
Trying to
available
say
to them,
something.
and then also
There we
the
go.
fact that they made such a big mistake with Solo. If they're going to make another anthology film, they know they need to change something up. And as we've said, Disney isn't going to make the same mistake twice. I
No.
think they're going to change something up, and
And
I
again, they
think-
are making it a Maleficent 2 right now.
I do
I-
think
I-
that I think if they do, even if they do another
Anthology?
anthology, I was gonna say it right the first time. This has a good potential to be the last one, because right now
The last anthology movie?
anthology one, it's kind of like, because they're the way I see them, they're like placeholders to fill the void in between each of the episodes, and then
I don't think that's how they want to look at it.
No, I think they want 2,
But
3.
I think that's a big part, because they're releasing episode 7, then anthology, then episode 8.
So then in your
anthology,
opinion, what
episode
happens
9,
when
and then they finish off that on the anthology, and then now they
Yeah.
move on to completely new stories, because
Okay.
all these anthology films are tied into the original trilogy or the new trilogy in some way or form.
Mhm.
Whereas now they finish it off with this one, which again gives them because they're knowing it's the last one, they don't have to try and set up for anything more or do anything like. They have a lot more creative freedom, I think. And then with that, they finish it there, and then they go on to TV shows or Ryan Johnson's thing, and I don't know.
His
But
quick trilogy.
I'm excited for it
Sure.
because it's kind of their last shot at like making a big movie before the streaming service comes out. So
Mhm.
I think they're gonna do something new, and I think the opportunity there's a lot of opportunities there for them to make it amazing.
Yeah.
But they could also just completely mess it up,
Possible.
We'll see what
or
happens.
they just don't do it.
Yeah, well, they might. Yeah, that's the thing. All these movies right now, they're all up in the air.
One
at
thing
9.
I would be really excited for. Have you guys read the Bounty Hunters book?
No.
I
It
have,
follows
actually.
the story. No, you haven't. It follows.
Why'd you
Basically, it
ask?
follows. I just wasn't directed towards you, honestly. But
Oh!
it basically follows each of the 5 bounty hunters that are brought together on the
Good old
Darth Vader's
Dengar.
third story there, and
Oh,
it
that's
basically
what I
follows each of their stories that leads up to that moment where they're all together and getting the assignment of hunt Han Solo, and then it follows kind of their stories after that and after kind of the hunt into Return of the Jedi, slightly after Return of the Jedi. And great book, really good stories, and it'd be really cool to see even like a TV show based on kind of that. It kind of leads up to that moment, and there's a big moment, and then goes and follows their side stories, because I don't know. There isn't a whole lot to it, but
I agree.
I
I
think
want
they're
a
really
bounty
cool
hunters
stuff.
movie. I've
Yeah.
said that for a while. I don't want a Boba Fett movie because that I think is super fucking dangerous. You know, it's the same way as like I wouldn't want just like a Grievous movie or something like that. Like there's some characters where it's like
Yeah, but I
they don't
think
need an hour and a
if
half.
they are gonna make a bounty hunters movie, I feel like it
2.5
would be
hours.
under the name Boba Fett, right?
or
Because he's the most well known.
Yeah, it should.
He has the most. He's the name that most people would
He's the most
recognize.
green.
He
Yeah,
looks
they could
the
do-
coolest.
it
Perhaps.
could be Mandalores. And
Yeah,
it's exactly
something like
like
that,
Predators, but
but-
it's Mandalores.
I like that. The Mandalore eventually.
The Mandalore. And it's Boba Fett. He's just going places and he's just killing people.
Mandalore. Do we got anything to add on Boba?
No.
Movie.
Okay. What would we rather talk about next? Batman or Spider-Man?
Batman.
Okay, Batman. Rumored to be having the Penguin as the main villain, but also apparently, if it isn't used, Birds of Prey, which is a movie that's going to have Batgirl and Harley Quinn, Black Canary, just a female team up. He could be used for that. I'll throw it to you guys. Would you want Penguin in, I guess, at all? And that's what I'm throwing to you.
My
There's no
vote
and
goes
yet.
for the Birds of Prey because it fits with the title much more. 'Cause
Yeah,
are
penguins,
also
birds. Yeah.
Penguins are.
Yep. A
Mhm.
bird of prey. So I like that.
Well, because you and me, Briggs and I, coming out next summer.
Can't wait.
We were talking about this in group chat. I don't think the Penguin validates himself to be the main head honcho in a
And why not?
Batman film because I feel like he's very small timey. He's just a criminal who looks like a penguin.
He's a little
He
too
talks
creepy,
like a penguin.
perhaps.
And
How
if
do you
it's
talk like a penguin?
who?
How do you talk like a penguin?
We gotta
Go watch
movies.
Batman Returns.
Yeah.
Danny DeVito.
Great movie.
If it is used
Killer
in a
penguins.
way like that, where there is another villain,
Yeah.
then I'm more open to it. But just hearing it's just Penguin alone, that makes me a little not concerned. I still think it would be good, and I also just don't think that puts a lot of asses in seats. I don't think that's the name when it's like, I don't want to throw out my name because I was going to ask a question next, but I don't think people go Penguin, and he's a classic Batman film, but I don't think that gets people super excited. I think they're a little intrigued, and I also think, I don't know. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Mike, because I'm not wholly like insanely familiar with Penguin, Batman, and the relationship, but I do agree that he should be he shouldn't be the whole film's villain. He should be only kind of have one act for himself, because as a villain, he doesn't have a whole lot to do other than talk and scheme.
Yeah.
He doesn't actually do a whole lot in terms of fighting. I've seen in the animated he does.
He's not so agile.
He does
No,
do
no,
some
no.
fighting, but it's nothing
Can't fly on that
too
one.
impressive. So, I like he would either be kind of like the first act villain that sets up for this larger villain that has something going on, or I don't know if this would be accurate or would fit at all, but maybe because he schemes, he would be the second act villain. That there's one villain, then he's kind of the mastermind behind
Yeah.
the scenes. So I think that could work very well, but I think just having one villain straight through, just I think that's a bad idea.
I think you can, like, for Penguin or just in general? I
For
think,
Penguin, at
Okay,
least.
I was going to say, I think there's many villains that you could have as the straight through. But yeah,
Yeah.
Penguin to me, I want him to almost be like Claw was in Black Panther. Maybe not as short, but use something like that where he's a big role in the movie, but he is not your main antagonist. Or even then, if he is the main antagonist, he has some heavy guy that can fight, because I have a lot of faith. Matt Reeves directed
Swarm
those
of
Planet of the
Penguins.
Apes movies, so like I would also hope that Andy Serkis would play the Penguin for some reason. I just could see it.
Yeah,
Danny
I want to
DeVito
see that. I want that.
Dan DeVito. I love Dan DeVito in that movie, but he doesn't need to come back for this. But I will. Yeah. What else do you guys think as far as Penguin goes?
I like the idea of like multiple villains in like a movie like that, similar to how they did like Batman Returns. Because who else was in that movie? Was it Mr. Freeze?
No, Catwoman.
Oh, Catwoman.
White Gold. Michelle Pfeiffer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was combining movies then.
You had a messed up
Yeah.
perspective.
Okay, well I'm gonna shoot it off to Taylor.
I'll ask because you can go. Because Briggs, you go, and then Kirkland, and then Taylor can go. For you, you're saying okay, it's Penguin and somebody. Who's that somebody for you that you throw in this? You get your pick.
I like Mr. Freeze.
So
Honestly, I'm a huge.
So it's a movie that
Schwarzenegger, bring
definitely
back
takes
Schwarzenegger.
place.
Just bring back the cast.
There's more
It's
penguins.
definitely a
They're
winter
slow.
movie. Yeah.
You freeze the ice, they come
They
sliding at you.
Like
Faster than you
missing
That
can
is
that.
imagine.
almost
What are you
Batman
gonna do?
Returns already.
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
Break same thing, or you legit with Mr. Freeze?
I like Mr. Freeze.
Okay.
I think it'd be a good mix, like how you said. You could like a
Slide
I don't know if he was being real or facetious
I
or
was
not.
being.
I'm saying DC comes to you and they just say, "Hey, Batman's happening 2020. You pick
And there
the
has to
villain."
be.
No, you pick whatever. I'm just saying now.
To
If
go
you
with
want to
Penguin
incorporate,
or just any.
you do you. DC
Real
do
curveball?
you.
Thanos. Boom.
DC's like, you know what? We're completely.
Superman.
Batman
No
will be
shit. We put all our marbles in this one.
Yeah,
We're going for it.
Superman. We did that one.
Ooh, top of my head.
Or do you need to think about it?
Slipknot,
I need to think about it.
Enchantress.
Yeah. Give me a second.
I could say I would say Luther and sure Penguin will say.
Okay, so
Nothing
just a
else
bunch
comes
of
to mind.
brains going on.
Yeah,
lot of
because
brains.
what I really
No
want
brawn.
from a Batman.
Do you want
one-
just
No
Eisenberg's Luther though? That's the bandage that comes with
I
that.
want The
music.
Rock. That's who I want. Seriously.
It's not. You get Lex.
And they just pretend it's the same
I want
guy.
Bryan Cranston as Luther.
They
Yeah,
all play
everyone
three.
wanted Bryan
They all
Cranston.
play. That's what they should do. Like Bryan Cranston's Grandpa Luther, like, and then Rock's the dad, and Eisenberg's his son, and they just look at Eisenberg
it's a
like, "You're such a
family."
disappointment. Like, look
That
at you. You're so
middle phase.
small. You're not evil."
And then Eisenberg goes on to become the Penguin.
Oh wow, that's a skinny
Yeah.
penguin.
That's a pretty intense story.
Yeah.
I want that movie too.
Yeah. Yeah, I want a movie where it's more about the brains and figuring things out rather than about. So I guess Riddler could also potentially be a good one.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna throw. Riddler
But,
for me
yeah.
is like I want a hard detective serial killer, sort of like
Mhm.
Seven, not rated R. Batman doesn't need to find decapitated heads, but
Especially with how high tech all of his stuff is in the rebooted Ben Affleck kind of Batman.
Mhm.
It seems like if he can make a suit to defeat Superman, he can
Wow.
literally have. Yes, there's brains obviously, but like as far as strength battles go, he's gonna win every time with gadgets. I want something that messes with his brain, makes him like think outside the box, and really has to figure things out detective wise and stuff, much more than just big suits and fighting with cool gadgets.
Yeah. Well, because I'll throw out my ones. I want Penguin and Birds of Prey. I think that works better. Riddler, I've always wanted to see. Jim Carrey did something.
I loved it.
He did something with that role.
Dazzle.
He did something with that role. Red Hood, I don't need to say more. I don't want to spoil it for people, but that's a for sure one for me. Black Mask, I've always loved Black Mask. He's such a good villain. And for me, I really want a hard-nosed, well-done Mr. Freeze. If you watch the animated series, you know what I'm talking about. Can't have Arnold Schwarzenegger's Mr. Freeze. Like, Mr. Freeze is a super sympathetic, like, sad villain, and he like has a heartbreaking story. They didn't do that at all with Arnold Schwarzenegger, and those are the ones I really want. I definitely don't want Joker, like, unless there's some recast. I don't want that. And plus, we've seen so many Batman
We've seen
Joker
a lot
movies.
of Jokers.
I want something new, even if it's I don't know, maybe a newer Two-Face. I don't know. We don't need Bane right now, unless Tom Hardy's
Right,
coming back.
yeah.
But yeah, Riddler's my main one, because I feel like there's a great Riddler detective movie somewhere, and they just haven't made it
Yeah,
yet.
I really like that Riddler pick, actually.
Played by Neil Patrick Harris.
I think so.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I really like the Riddler pick. I'm a huge fan of Poison Ivy. I know she's kind of a minor villain, but I really like her.
I feel like she's more dangerous than Penguin, though. She can make, plants just pop up,
And then you gotta have the Catwoman in there.
Well,
You go.
Catwoman never used the main villain, but they need Catwoman like pronto stat in every movie.
Right now.
Every single movie, yeah.
Jessica, how you feel about Penguin? Do you like birds?
I do like birds.
Mhm.
I have no idea about this villain, so
Have you not seen Batman Returns?
How about Batman 66?
no,
Have you not seen the OG Batman with Jack Nicholson's Joker?
no.
That's
Okay.
I've seen The Dark Knight.
Yes.
See, because we've always
Do you know what
talked
Batman
a
is?
DC.
I don't know. You guys can
Some
talk
say
about
he's a
like,
type of bird.
I really want a podcast, and we might set up. Dylan has not seen those OG Batmans, and I think you guys should watch them and review them. I really want
Like Batman Returns and stuff?
They've not seen any of them.
Oh, man.
So you've never seen like Jim Carrey's The Riddler or Arnold Schwarzenegger's Mr. Freeze? Yeah.
Correct.
There is some
no.
fucking.
See, when you talk about Mr. Freeze, all I think about is Frozone from The Incredibles.
Oh,
Really?
no.
That's a real stretch
They're-
right there.
You guys think BVS or for you Rises is bad? You ain't seen nothing yet. If
Oh.
you haven't seen some of those old Batman movies.
Who is the one dude from the end credit scene of?
Deathstroke.
Yeah, that's what I want.
He was the original Batman villain when Ben Affleck was directing, but now he's like.
That's who I want to see.
Things have changed.
Because Deathstroke's really sweet. Deathstroke could be the second part of
The higher
The
gun.
Penguin movie.
yeah Penguin.
So Jessica, you don't have anybody you would throw out there for Batman because.
I mean, I know the Riddler,
Mhm.
so I could throw out that because that's what I know.
Mhm.
I know Poison Ivy, I know Catwoman, and that's about the extent of my DC Batman knowledge. Harley Quinn and Joker.
You guys are gonna be watching some movies this
I have
year.
one more that I totally forgot about. Victor Zaz? Is that how you say
Oh,
it?
Mr. Zaz.
Mr.
Yeah.
Zaz.
He
I
can
always
be a
thought he was
main
a
villain
unique
though.
character.
He's
No,
a serial
definitely
killer
not.
who just cuts himself after he kills somebody. So.
Yeah, he's just creepy. And
He is
I
very
love
That
creepy
doesn't sound-
villains.
There's a hard limit to how many people he can kill.
You'd be
It's
surprised.
like that Black
I mean, it's very high,
Yeah.
but eventually.
Just
I don't
depends,
know.
like how much does he really cut himself? Is it just like
And how often does he kill?
Enough to leave like a scar.
a noticeable scar for
Yeah.
years?
He
Well,
was.
like,
He had a
that's
cameo in
risky.
Batman Begins.
Really?
Yep.
Oh wow.
Yep.
I didn't know that. But what I was gonna say for my Batman movie, I feel like I kind of want like multiple villains. You know,
Yeah.
I don't want just one main
What
one.
about Scarecrow?
Scarecrow's great. They should have used him more in the trilogy, but they didn't.
Jeepers Creepers.
He's in 2 movies.
I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah,
Waiting.
no.
Yeah, but I want him to be like the
Fatal.
main,
Yeah, I'm waiting for it.
like in Arkham Asylum. If I went to play that game, I want them to just make Arkham Asylum the movie. But Taylor, you look like you want to speak up. You keep just peering at me.
I heard a rumor that.
Oh, here we go.
Oh,
Juicy
heard it?
The Boba Fett is gonna be.
No, I was on the internet and I was looking around and I'm like, oh, this
What were you
Batman
looking for?
news. Batman news.
You were looking for Batman news and you found Batman news. Wow,
Yeah.
what a successful day you had.
Did you say?
It was in, it was in my notes. So it was about the new Batman movie, and it is about who's playing the Penguin, and Nick Frost showed interest.
Okay, no.
Who's
You
Nick
always do
Frost?
this about who's playing the Penguin. He was interested in it.
He was
right?
interested.
I don't want that, and I don't want Josh Gad
You
either.
know Simon Pegg's
Oh
friend,
gosh, yeah, come
Shaun
on.
of the Dead.
The big guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm
hot
going
fuzz.
Nick Frost kind of sounds like a DC villain name. Like that could be
Yeah.
Mr. Freeze's like real name.
Or his son.
Yeah.
Or his son. It's true.
Yeah, no, I thought that would be kind of cool. I don't know. I could see like a Jack Black playing.
Fuck
Penguin.
off, man.
Hey, he could be a really good
I'd be
Penguin.
into
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
You
I
have
wanna
Jack
see
Black
that.
as Penguin, The
Officially
Rock.
Make
as
Tenacious
Mr.
D the
Freeze.
villain of the movie. That would be.
The other let's see. Yeah, the other person I really want is Glenn Fleshler. He's from Barry. If you
Fleshler.
watch that show,
Oh, yeah,
he
yeah.
played the killer in True Detective. Would be also phenomenal as Penguin. So him and Andy Serkis, those are my two choices.
No, Nick
Um,
Frost.
You know,
I
I
could
think.
see- I can see Nick Frost.
Too comedic.
Well, I
supposed
feel
to
like
be.
the Penguin's supposed to be comedic.
Yeah, but I don't want that for main villain.
He wouldn't be the main villain.
Penguin.
That's not what the news
I got
says
the
right
inside
now.
scoop.
Penguin's one of the 3 in '66, right?
He's one of the 4, yeah.
4. Who's the 4th one? Riddler, Joker, and who else?
Catwoman.
Hmm.
Remember when she goes?
I don't remember that.
Remember when she goes in disguise and she courts
Oh.
Bruce Wayne back to her?
Oh, all the disguises were so bad. I remember
Fucking
that.
great movie.
Yeah, so I mean, my knowledge of Penguin, that's as
Oh,
far as it
yeah.
goes, that's all I know of Penguin. So from that perspective, I would think he would need to be in a movie with a bunch of other villains as well to really give him like that substantial role. And I really don't have any recommendations for who would be the main villain because I don't really know all that much about DC. I don't know.
We're gonna.
The big
I'm
roots,
gonna educate you. When Aquaman, as a preview, when Aquaman's coming up, we'll probably be doing a DC retro, and that's when a lot of these are gonna be because no one's seen the original Superman here, I imagine.
Nope.
No one's seen
Like the 70s one?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
There's like 3 of 2 or 3.
There's
of
4.
4.
Oh,
There's
okay.
2 good ones. Yeah. And
Two
then-
good ones.
Which one's the first 2?
Yeah, the first.
Yeah.
Good. What do you mean by good?
What about the one?
They're inspirational and they're a little dated, but they actually have a story that
Inspirational.
makes sense,
Nice.
and they're not.
I like
overly
stories
bad.
that make sense.
Yeah, they're not overly bad.
What about the one where the opening scene involves him getting shot in the eyeball and it's like super slow mo?
That's Superman Returns. Very boring.
Okay,
How about
I
I've
didn't
never
watch
seen-
past the opening scene, but
Because I've seen that scene as well.
yeah.
I don't know if I've seen the rest of
Anything to add on your finger guns, Taylor?
I do. I would like to see Scarecrow, Killer Croc, or the Riddler.
it.
Okay, Killer Croc.
I don't want the little stubby version from Suicide Squad. I want the Arkham Asylum version.
I like how
big
you,
one.
little stubby version, he was your favorite character in that movie.
favorite
You're just
character.
shitting on him so hard.
B.T. I want Clayface if we're doing animated things. Then.
Clayface.
Leave
Yeah.
it.
But no, I think Penguin's got to be a side villain, and I think they got to have a bunch of like main characters, main villains.
Yeah. We're doing just a Penguin movie.
Yeah,
Fuck.
he's-
It's a Batman movie with no villain.
I got a question for you. I don't really know too much
Batman
about it.
is
What
the
about the
villain.
Court of
That's the
Owls?
whole
The
twist.
Court of Owls,
I feel like that
really-
could be a cool like kind of organization.
The Court of Owls I really want, but I think it would be which still needs to read. You started and you never finished it. I give it to you. One of the best storylines ever.
I lost it.
I think I don't know if
Mr. Freeze was in that.
I don't know if audiences are ready for Court of Owls. I'm waiting for the day I want Batman to become either Harry Potter or James Bond. I want it to be James Bond where they have an actor, they make a couple, and then they just recast and they get a new director and just go. Not this huge long continuity, just always a new story, a new villain. Or I want Harry Potter where it's like we start with a young actor and we go to he's like 45, 50, and you get to every villain, and that's where you could set up a Court of Owls. Court of Owls, you need like. The reason that worked is because it was long decades of comics, and it's like, oh, we were there the whole time. Where you can't start off a movie with, we were here the whole time. I was like, where were you? I guess you're in BVS, cool, like that's about it. But they still haven't answered why there's a fucking dead Robin around, you know? Like,
Wasn't that what they
They
were
need to
gonna?
clone Kevin Feige.
and give them to Disney.
Yeah.
Or Disney can just buy.
Attack of the Clones.
You know, DC.
Everyone
Yeah.
everyone has the
Even
5
better.
year.
Cut the check, DC.
Weren't they kind of going with that with Michael Keaton's story? Because they swapped out Batman's, then they were gonna do another one after.
Yeah, but then they got really shitty, so I want them to say good, you know? Like,
What was the name of the one that was coming?
You're asking
after
for
that
too
they
much.
canned?
there's a bunch, but I think it was Batman Vengeance and then Batman Triumphant.
Yeah.
It was gonna have Nicolas.
Triumphant.
In a
Yeah.
perfect world.
It was gonna have Nicolas Cage as Scarecrow.
Yes.
Madonna was gonna
He
play.
would be a good Batman.
Madonna was gonna play Harley Quinn.
Oh,
Jack Nicholson was
great.
coming back. In the
Madonna
cameo.
is Harley Quinn.
Oh yeah, this movie was fucked.
Wow, I gotta see this.
And
movie.
George.
What?
This it didn't
That's
get made.
wild.
It didn't get made, and George Clooney was playing Batman. Do you even know George Clooney's played Batman?
Yeah, I knew that.
Okay.
That's why it didn't seem that weird to me.
Did you know Val Kilmer played Batman?
Uh huh.
My father. Are we done on Batman?
Spider Man.
Well, let's talk about a guy who was maybe gonna be playing Batman, but it doesn't look like it anymore. Jake Gyllenhaal is about to pop his comic book cherry, and apparently he's rumored to be playing Mysterio in the Spider-Man Homecoming
Mysterio.
sequel.
I hear.
And then I'll add on that also that Michael Keaton is coming back as well as Vulture. They've not said
Nice.
what these roles are, whatnot. How do you feel about Jake Gyllenhaal And
I am incredibly excited because I picked him as number 1 on my comic book draft, so I would get 2 points if he gets casted this.
It has to happen before July.
Yeah, that's the kind.
No, that's bullshit. I'm gonna just pick him again.
He's gonna get a point because he could pick him
I
again.
get to pick him again.
Yeah, we're doing that cast.
Easy.
Well, because for the comic draft, quick plug, go check that out. At the beginning of the year, me, Jessica Taylor, and Dylan, we drafted 5 actors who in the next year could get cast in DC, Marvel, or X-Men. So far, none of us have had anybody for the points. Dylan's top pick was Jake Gyllenhaal. In July, we're going to redraft, but our first pick, we all get to keep someone from a roster. Then we'll be completely new because we don't want to just keep picking the same people, but I know you're going to keep Jake. So he's probably going to get these points in my roster.
Unless I get the points already and then I can keep someone
That's
else.
true,
That's
that's
the
true.
true strategy. I'm planning this stuff out.
But check it out, Funcast.
Yeah, no, I think Mysterio is kind of a strange pick for Gyllenhaal. When we were talking, when we did that comic book cast, that was certainly not a character I suggested that he would play. Batman was a big one. So it's a weird pick for him specifically, but I think he's a very skilled actor, and Mysterio is a really fun character. He has a lot of cool visual stuff going on. And, I mean, his backstory is from what I know of it, it is pretty basic, but they still could make a really fun movie with it, and if Vulture's in it too, who knows if there's another villain, maybe they're building up.
Well, they introduced Scorpion in the first movie, remember?
Shocker as well.
And Shocker, so they're building up
They're going to Insidious 6, yeah. So, I don't know. I mean, it's not the ideal Jake Gyllenhaal role, but honestly, I'm still really excited for that idea. I think I don't really see it going that poorly. I think either way it will be, at least pretty solid.
I'm very interested as to how, I don't know.
You're a big Mysterio fan.
I'm a huge Mysterio fan. I just always thought he was a cool looking character.
The giant fishbowl and all the tricks.
And
he could eventually cross over to Doctor Strange. That would be a wild movie. They both just
he takes the helmet off and
he would get destroyed.
Problem in a second. Mysterio's one of the worst villains of all time. It's just because he's
so
looks fucking cool and he's
so
entertaining. But on a danger level,
well.
even though he is the man that made Logan kill all the X-Men at one point, so good for Mysterio.
I got to see that
He
story.
hypnotized. That happened in the Logan killed the X-Men. What?
Strong ability.
Yeah, he made spoilers for Old Man Logan, which Logan was based on. He made Logan think that the X-Mansion was being attacked by all these people. Logan killed them all. When he snapped out of it, they're all X-Men, and that's where Logan went. So in the movie, it was Xavier, but in the comic books, Wolverine killed everybody, and I was like, fuck.
Shit.
Yeah.
Can't do that again.
Oops.
You literally can't. They're all already dead.
Not possible.
But yeah, I'm interested with the way that they take it. If it's a darker role, or if it's just more comedic. I feel like Jake Gyllenhaal is a solid actor, so he can kind of.
You can do both.
You can do both
In the same movie.
You can do it all.
He probably could, honestly. He's very talented. I'm super pumped on Michael Keaton though. I thought he was a really great piece in Homecoming. I don't know what the word I was going for with that one.
Peace. You're a real peace, Michael.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks.
Real slice.
Oh, thanks, Kim.
Are they saying that those are the only 2?
Yeah, right now they just said those are the only 2. Yeah.
I'll be interested to see if they have any other cameos. Hopefully it's something better than the Shocker that they had in that movie.
Yeah, that's why I said my nickname is Mr. Negative. I'm not for this at all. I will take it if I get Mysterio. Mysterio's one of my all-time favorite villains just because he's so fucking cheesy and lame. But he becomes cool because of that.
He's got the cape. He's got it all.
It's the look. I need to see that fishbowl motherfucker in my life on screen.
They can't change his look though.
That's my worry though when you cast Jake Gyllenhaal. Is that going to be the actor who wears that fishbowl?
That's
And
the hard thing, right?
Yeah.
I
You wanna see the
always
fishbowl, you wanna see
envisioned.
Gyllenhaal.
Okay, I wouldn't want Jack Black in my Spider-Man movie, but an actor like that, where a Jim Carrey, someone that could be a little dramatic, has some comedy, that's what I always imagined for Mysterio. Jake Gyllenhaal to me, whether it was as Batman or some villain, I think for him, I'd much rather have him somewhere else because I feel like this could be a one and done. And I'll take it. If this is the only way I can get Mysterio, then I'll take it. But I'm not a fan of this at all because I think there's other actors out there that I prefer to play. And maybe he will play a goofy Mysterio. I don't really want to see Jake Gyllenhaal goofy. I know he can do that. He's great, but I want Nightcrawler Jake Gyllenhaal. I want skin crawling. That's why I thought he'd make a good Batman or Riddler or something like that. It's Mysterio, and that's what I really worry too. Maybe it's not. Robert Downey always has the mask on, but if they get rid of that fishbowl, I'm going to be really mad. And we can't say that might not happen because look at Shocker. They fucking bungled Shocker. That's one of the main reasons I don't hate Spider-Man, but that's one of the things I hate about that movie. I can never forgive it that Shocker's just wearing a yellow jacket. And he looked like... Oh,
I really
he's wearing not the Ant-Man film yellow jacket.
Leather jacket.
Leather jacket.
But yeah, no, I totally agree with you. If they don't have that iconic look, I'm gonna be brought down a lot of points on it because
Yeah.
I love that character, but I just
You literally
love,
can't see
I love
his face.
everything. Yeah,
And
exactly.
it's not like Iron Man where he has some eyes or something like I don't know.
Casting wise, like
yeah.
if they do go with Gyllenhaal, it makes me think they're doing something like different with Mysterio.
A new
something
take,
darker,
yeah,
and-
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe that's not the best path.
And because even then, I think we always want Mysterio, but I don't know. Same thing as Penguin. Should he be the main villain? I could see them, and maybe if we don't know how much Vulture's coming back, so maybe if it's a team up movie, sure. But if it is like Mysterio plus other people, I don't know if Mysterio can carry his own movie because sometimes he can't even carry his own animated episodes. You know, so like, it's.
I thought
that
that
was
was
a
question
great
about Homecoming for the Scorpion. He was in prison, right?
Yeah, he's in prison with the
There's a
Vulture.
post-
With the
credits.
Vulture.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
he's gonna come back.
Well, people are wondering if they're starting to set up Sinister Six. I don't want them to, but you know.
Why not?
Because I never liked the idea of one hero versing six of his villains, and then the next time he versus them one-on-one, it's like, why is Vulture so dangerous this time if you just balked him when he had 5 of his friends as well? I've never liked...
He's cocky.
Yeah, I guess. I did.
Mhm.
If they're a bunch of shit villains, sure, but I don't want
The
Michael...
big. Okay.
I mean,
yeah.
they also do have access to a shitload of other Marvel characters
That I'm for.
that
Bring
they're
Hulk
already cast
in.
for. Bring a couple of
Daredevil.
people in, yeah, definitely.
How's
Yeah.
that?
I'm gonna do
Fuck off.
Daredevil. That'd be
TV
sick.
series.
Daredevil needs to be...
That's
Daredevil
that's the
and
place to do
Spider-Man
it.
are, like,
That's the
on
place
together
to do the
so much in
crossover.
Oh,
comics,
yeah.
too. That's such a good duo.
Someone needs to frame Spider.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts?
I'm for Jake Gyllenhaal being in the Marvel universe. I don't know if I want him in Mysterio though. I
Mhm.
want it. Like I always want Jake. I love Jake Gyllenhaal.
Mhm.
I want him to have much more of a significant, kind of bigger role.
Like a
that
leading
could be
role.
recurring.
Yeah.
Whereas this one, the one thing that would make me really sad if it is a one-off, and that's his thing in the Marvel universe.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
that's it. And then also the fishbowl, because obviously Mysterio, very iconic. It's just a
We
glass
talk about it
that-
like it's a bad thing.
that
but
you
it's
can't
amazing.
see
It's a
through.
great-
It's
yeah.
great, and it just adds so much to his look. So if they make it transparent, I feel like it takes away.
Mhm.
But you also need to have Gyllenhaal's face in it because he's a great-looking guy.
I
Which
mean, if you look
completely
at the way they
defeats
changed Vulture's look, like
Yeah.
Mysterio's looks probably gonna be quite different. And
Yeah.
I
I
want a
think-
super vibrant, like just blinding the eyes with his purple
Eyes on his
yeah,
shoulder.
I think, and like you can't look directly at the fishbowl or else it mesmerizes. Yeah.
I think the best
I
thing
want
that they can do with Jake Gyllenhaal as Mysterio is overhaul Mysterio.
Oh.
But which Marvel can do, I think it'll still be a good one. But I do think it would obviously disappoint a lot of people because of who Mysterio is.
Cut the check.
So we'll see what
Don't
they
cut
do,
the check.
and I'm as with you. Like if that's what it is, then I'll take it. But there are
No,
other
see
things
that I
I'd
don't
like
agree
to-
with you there. I'll take Gyllenhaal being Mysterio if we get fucking weird Mysterio, like cool classic Mysterio. I won't take it if they revamp him. If they revamp him, I'd just rather them not do him. It's kind of like Venom. Sure, the Venom movie looks good now, but I'd still rather him be in the Marvel movies. I hate that we have this Venom movie off his own Eddie and all this stuff. Like,
Alright.
I know he says Eddie. I'm just throwing that for Taylor. But.
I think it's more. Even if they do something different, I have enough faith in Marvel
Fair
that
enough.
they'll do it right. But I would prefer to see Gyllenhaal in a. I mean, who knows? Maybe it does end up being more of a leading recurring role with Mysterio. I don't know what they do with him, but
Yeah.
it could work. So I'm excited to see
Mysterio.
more of
Wow.
Gyllenhaal.
You know, side point. I know who I'd love to see Jake Gyllenhaal play. Craven the Hunter.
Ooh.
I don't.
That's a
Craven
weird
the
one.
I
Hunter
don't know
doesn't strike me
anything
as a
about
white
this man.
American though.
I know, but he's got that grizzled look.
I don't think grizzled enough. I feel like
I'd like to hear that accent. I'd be really. I'd be very excited for that.
Spider-Man. I feel like Javier or something like that. Like, I think you need a foreign actor.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Craven
You're
and
probably
me.
right, but
I'm just saying.
I'm trying to link the two.
I just
I think it's a better fit than Mysterio.
I think Jake should just wait for Ben to be done and just do Batman. You know. Just,
Why not both?
yikes.
No one's gonna stop him.
I think one of them will.
Jake Gyllenhaal buys DC and Disney.
Wow. Where does he get his money?
He had some smart
Fills all his
investments.
online services.
Who's
Stars in every movie.
Who's the Bitcoin?
He went in big on that.
Yeah.
Taylor, Jessica.
Indifference from Jessica.
I
No
don't-
words
I
for the
don't
podcast
really
listeners.
know enough about the universe to be able to comment on it. at all.
Universe.
Lands on you, Taylor.
You know, I really like Jake Gyllenhaal in Prince of Persia. I think he can be very
Oh my
vibrant.
That's
He's
a thing.
worked with Disney before.
I forgot about
That was
that.
a Disney movie
I
too.
forgot. Yeah. I can see this. Retro.
I've threatened the idea of doing a video game retro.
Yes, that
It'd be
would
pretty
amazing.
awful. Like a video game
Brendan,
movie.
what'd you say?
Like myself, like being like.
What
should
did you
we
say
do
though?
it?
You threatened?
I threatened doing a video game movie retrospective.
Threatened?
Threatened.
Threaded the
Frickin'.
needle.
Threatened.
No, not the
You made
red
it
one.
when you like.
I know.
I made it
Tell
threat.
someone
throwing
you're
it
gonna
into the
hurt them.
comments.
if like
Yeah.
something.
So I made it threat, like it's like a threat, like oh you should do, it, but I know I'm hurting
Hey,
myself.
that's a weird phrasing. That doesn't make sense to me.
I
Anyway,
thought it
go
made
on.
enough
It makes
sense.
100%.
Not for me.
Your
That's fine.
Gollum version of yourself
Agree
is
to
telling you
disagree.
to do it.
Fuck everybody.
No, I think he can be a vibrant character on the screen with the way he portrays himself and his
Just
movements.
of all the movies you could suggest, just like Prince of Persia. Like I'm just
Ubisoft.
flipping through it in my mind.
I guarantee you, Taylor's not seen any of Jake Gyllenhaal's like top 5
Brokeback
performances.
Mountain.
Fuck.
You see, really? Intense Persia.
Yep, Heath Ledger, Jake Gyllenhaal.
That's very
It's
surprising.
a very
It
good
is.
movie.
Great movie.
I
That's,
remember
that's why I'm surprised.
I was too young to watch it. My mom and sister were watching it, and they told me to leave the room. That was awkward. But I got
Did
to
you
watch
leave the
it
room for the
forever.
tent scene?
Huh?
Did you leave the room for the tent scene?
I heard noises and stuff. My mom's like, get out of the room. Like, okay. I was too young.
Okay.
But
So
I
you
watched
really
it later
haven't
on.
seen it.
No, I watched it later on, and it was
Oh,
great.
okay.
Get out of my life.
So,
Is that the only like other movie you've seen with him?
Source Code wasn't bad.
Source Code is
Okay.
Source Code's a classic. It's a true classic. That's a guilty pleasure.
I won't say classic. A good movie, yeah, I'll give you that.
I remember Source Code because that was one that like I watched it and I really liked it, and then I had no idea what the name of it was, and I was like thinking about it like years later I thought about it. I was like, man, I really want to watch this movie, but I have no idea what it's called. Didn't think of IMDb. I think this was before IMDb was a big thing, you know.
Before,
I
no.
don't know.
Definitely not.
Before I used it, where I thought like
Yeah.
I could just put his name in here and find what the movie is. So it
Same,
was just lost in my mind forever.
same guy that directed Warcraft, and that is Dave Bowie's son as well. So
Wow, that's a lot of fun facts.
And
Too
he
many
did-
fun facts for me. Try
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
Tone it down.
And
Hey,
he directed
you're just a cool guy. I know everything.
and he directed Mute on Netflix, which is a movie you shouldn't watch.
Meat?
Mute. Threatened.
Threatened by meat. Anyway.
Is that it for?
Since you mentioned Venom, I just want to
Somebody's
slide
finger
this in there.
Cool.
So-
That was
That
not
was not
sliding.
sliding,
That was
that was a full
forcefully
fist.
shoving.
wasn't this. That was.
You put all 5 fingers.
If the TSA said, "Hey, I'm just gonna slide my hand up there," oh!
Well, it makes it easier because you're not expecting it. It's like when they put a needle in you, they're talking to you casually and it's
I
hard
don't
to
know
look
if it really
away,
makes it
and
much
then
easier.
I want to like this.
Yeah, full spread.
Threatening you with the
Hey.
shove.
I read this comment and
Okay, what the fuck? Why do you gotta
it's
talk
about it's about
this?
Venom. So
I know, but that doesn't make it any more validated.
Woody
You're just reading
Harrelson-
off some.
Woody.
Yeah, I know what you're gonna say.
he says he will have more screen time in Venom 2 if it gets a Venom 2.
Yeah, so because he's playing Carnage, everyone thinks it's the end credit scene. I don't think you should be saying that type of shit because that's the type of stuff that curses you, and you don't get to make a Venom 2, you know. But yeah,
He's an
so
interesting fellow. Woody Harrelson.
yeah,
I remember you
nothing
mentioned
about
He's
before.
playing Carnage? That's like confirmed now.
it. It's a rumor, but I think that's what they're
Confirmed rumor.
trying to hint at. That they'll set him up and then Venom 2.
I know you mentioned before, but are you triggered that he's not like the same age?
Yeah, I think that's why you know that because I mentioned that. I don't.
I feel like it doesn't affect the story though.
Let's get in there.
It's just not the Cletus Cassidy that I pictured in my mind.
That's fair.
I just feel like you have Michael C. Hall sitting right there, and he looks exactly like
Yeah.
fucking Cletus Cassidy.
yeah. I
And he's a
forgot
great
about that.
actor, and he can play a
Cletus.
psychopath. And Woody Harrelson's great. I was gonna say that he could do anything good, but I just saw Solo. He's not bad in it, but he's just fine. So I know he can also just be fine. So
It's not his
I think he can make a good Carnage. There's just other people I would put in there, and I also
Okay.
don't want Woody Harrelson's accent on Carnage either. Don't like that at all.
True.
And is he gonna have those long ginger vlogs?
Yes.
Okay, we'll see. I don't see Woody Harrelson having them, but if he does, then great. But
I forgot about the ginger hair.
yeah,
Um,
can't forget that. Cletus is like one of the only fucking characters that I was like,
yeah.
you know. So.
Mary Jane.
Okay.
Well, good characters.
You win that debate.
Is that it for Spider-Man?
Yes.
And comments from people?
That relate to Spider-Man.
Okay. Did anyone watch the last Christopher Robin trailer?
Nope.
No.
Nope. I've seen the memes.
I haven't seen the first ones.
It's great.
I saw the first one.
I can't wait to see this movie. I'm gonna be there opening day, and you'll get a review probably from me alone. I think. So there you go. That's all the movie news that I have.
I don't
New
think I
James
have
Bond.
any either.
And new James Bond is coming out next year, directed by the great Danny Boyle. So
Danny B.
who directed the very overrated Slumdog Millionaire. Fuck you, Liam. Yeah, I'm very overrated. Very excited for that, and it's
Mhm.
probably gonna be Daniel Craig's last time. So
He said that last time, didn't he?
yeah, but I could see it this time. I think it should have been his last time, and cast someone new. But you know,
Wait, Daniel Craig's doing it again?
yep.
What?
Oh,
Did
yeah.
he publicly say like
He said he
I
would
would?
he'd rather slit his wrist than do another one, but he's back.
They spend a lot of money, man.
Maybe he's
I
another
think-
Shrek.
I think because the
whole
last
story.
one was not well received, he wants to go out on a better note. I think that's why. So
That's a slippery slope, man. What if this one sucks and you're stuck? You're doing another one.
you know what? You know what
You get a
happened?
good one.
You know what
One
happened,
last
though?
run. It's the classic.
They just keep
Any-
going down.
Yeah, roguelike.
He
That's
saw
what it is.
Logan and he's like, well, Hugh Jackman did it. Fuck it, so I'm gonna do it. So, and the other news I have for people if they're fans, Jamie Foxx was cast as Spawn. Very excited about
Yeah,
that.
that's cool.
Not sure how that movie's gonna go, but I'm very excited. Blumhouse is doing it, so
Blood
yeah.
Mouse.
They're a studio that did like they produced Get Out and everything like that.
Uh-huh.
Some of the biggest horror movies right now.
Cool.
I guess 2 TV shoutouts. Legion is great as always. You finally catch up on that. And The Americans ended last night. If you've not watched that show, you're missing out because it's one of the greatest shows in TV history of all time. So fantastically made, fantastically written, fantastic acted. That finale was heartbreaking. I wish I could do a solo cast, but I don't have time. But
Which one?
The Americans. It is about
Very good things.
during the Cold War. These two spies were sent from Russia, and it's about them making a life in America and doing a bunch of spy shit. And they're killing people and having sex with people and all this stuff. But they're undercover. They have kids. They're living this entire
Nice.
fake life, and it's phenomenal.
Sorry, I was laughing as Kurt
How
was
many?
laughing.
How many seasons?
I was chuckling actually.
Just 5.
Yeah.
Oh.
I think 5 or 6. So,
Just.
but it's only like 10 to 12
Easy.
episodes. They're
They're like 3 hour long.
the show's over now, so you can catch up. But phenomenal episode, phenomenal. Matthew Rise, big fan. So I'm actually officially done now, and Barry's great.
Anyone have other movie news?
Taylor.
If we're moving to video games, I might take off because as,
Oh,
you know
wow.
we wasted an hour talking about Star
Wasted.
Wars.
Wait, come on. I think that was a
Wasted.
phenomenal conversation. I think the fans are
on.
cheeving for that one. Don't know what cheeving
Put some
means.
respect on our
Well,
name.
we'll get the movie 2 news, and then let's just at least do Pokemon. Then you
What's
can go.
your movie and TV news, Taylor?
Oh wow.
That was very close.
It's very special.
Taylor did a flinch.
What
on
is
this.
it actually?
Oh my gosh.
Jurassic
I
something?
should I just pop it off really quick?
Yeah.
We don't know what it is.
Yeah, I don't know.
better than
I don't
TV.
know. You
Not-
look at me like I know.
Andrew Lincoln for TV
Okay.
News. He's no longer gonna be doing Rick Grimes after season 9. He wants out. So
Yep.
yeah.
There are
That'll be
9
interesting.
seasons.
I
Yeah.
haven't watched that.
Bring him to the
What show?
MCU, Andy Lincoln.
So- What
He's
show?
a top candidate for me to
What show?
take him in the
Walking
superhero
Dead.
draft.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know because he just
Or is
seemed-
that a
he seemed
bluff?
like he wanted
You
to be
want
with
us
his
to-
family and he's
And then
kinda
JJ
wants to
said
take a
that,
break.
and then he took episode 7. So you know what? Fuck the family.
So how big the check? How many?
Cut the
Disney's
check.
willing to
Cut
put
the
in that?
check to
Family
Andy
has
Lincoln.
value, and then like those big paychecks they have.
It'll be interesting. I'll actually catch up on Walking Dead just so I can see how they write Rick out. So and it'll be
How many
sad.
Yeah.
seasons is that?
that I have to catch up on.
Yeah.
Just like 2.5. So I started again like 6 months ago, and I'm like, yeah, the show, and then I stopped. But I'm like, now that he's leaving, I'll give him the respect. I'll watch his.
I'll watch his last episode. Haven't watched
Haven't seen
the
any
other two. but-
Nothing else but just that one
Yeah.
Is that
episode.
it then? Is that it for? Okay.
So they also announced How to Train Your Dragon 3.
Oh, so
They didn't
far.
announce it. They put out a poster. That movie was announced like years ago.
Years.
Well, I didn't know
Wow.
I didn't know that either, so thanks for bringing it
that.
up,
Thank
Taylor.
you, Kirkland.
Fuck off.
My life is much better now than I know.
I didn't actually know.
I haven't seen the first two.
Thank
Are
you,
they
those
good?
are great.
We
Oh,
love
they're
it.
I hear they're
phenomenal. They're phenomenal.
Worthy of a watch.
I've seen the first
Absolutely.
one and it was
Worth a
great.
rewatch.
Worth a rewatch. So I haven't watched it twice.
Oh,
Has
okay.
it second one?
No,
And then the
no.
third time you could fall asleep too.
Did you have anything more to add on that news?
There's a trailer coming.
There's also a trailer coming for Halloween.
There's always a trailer
Is there a
coming.
trailer out?
I don't know the synopsis.
Give the
of the trailer.
Oh, it's a knee slapper.
I'm missing out on this too.
You were gone for that, unfortunately. Then video game news. Okay, so Jessica can go talk about
Bye.
Pokemon.
Yeah.
Ouch.
No, that's
So yeah,
It's a joke. Anyway.
new Pokemon announced for Switch. It's
Hey Arnold.
Hey Pokemon!
Hey,
That's
Pikachu!
creepy.
yeah, Let's Go Pikachu and Let's
Let's
Go
Go.
Eevee. So 2 different versions, similar idea to Red and Blue is what I'm assuming. It's only the original 151 plus Alola forms and 1 new Pokemon that hasn't been.
So 152.
Well, if you, I mean,
Alolan forms don't count
Yeah.
as extra Pokemon.
Yeah.
They're just
But the one new one.
Yeah,
well,
Bryce.
no, it's a new Alolan
It's
form.
way too sly.
Okay.
What are you getting at?
Okay, I gotcha.
Yeah. So.
Sweet.
There was a trailer. There was a trailer.
There was a
What do you
trailer.
think of the trailer?
You ride around on a bike watching a little anime Pikachu. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know. I started tagging Matt and Switch postings. People selling Switches. He's not caving yet, but I will be buying a Switch just specifically for this.
For this game.
Yeah, oh for sure. You can play.
Politics.
You can play together.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
Oh.
connected to another Pokemon game.
Yeah, you can connect it to Pokemon Go.
This is a big selling point.
On that note, you also do get a Pokemon in Pokemon Go when you connect it to.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
But we don't know
That's
about.
unreal.
Free
It's not like they're just
Pokemon.
walking around on the streets for you to catch all day.
Not all of them. Thank you. No, they're not.
Oh.
And
Some
you,
are on
and
mountains.
you actually can get like a Bluetooth
Some are on the
Pokeball that you can pretend to throw to catch Pokemon, which is pretty
Yeah,
sweet.
you can catch Pokemon with your friends too, with the
With your
Joy-Cons,
friends.
which is pretty cool.
Ooh.
And the catching is
Super.
very similar to Pokemon Go, which is kind of nice.
Yeah, and
Is it?
you can actually take like the Pokeball like with
Settle
you
down
and stuff
with
like that.
There's a Pokeball controller they're coming out with. Too.
Yeah, so you can like pretend to throw the Pokeball and actually throw the
You can't
Pokeball in the
actually
game.
Broken
Well, I
TVs,
mean,
Wiimote all over
You
them.
can put on the strap, I'm
You
sure, and
strap
then
it,
let
of
it
course,
go
of
and.
course.
I never use. you
Always
can't
put
use
the strap on, kids.
Never put the strap.
And they also confirmed that the RPG Pokemon made specifically for the
Oh,
Switch
look
will
at-
be coming out 2019.
Yeah, this
Ooh,
is a
He
spin-off
said
side
late
version.
2019. Not a good sign.
No, it's just a 2019. They weren't specific. They just
I
said,
saw late 2019.
oh, did they?
Which is a big risk. It's like it's not that hard to
December?
push it to 2020 at
Yeah.
this point.
You'll get it around episode 9 time. But yeah, so they at least confirmed that it was because all they did last year, people were speculating it was RPG, but they just said a Pokemon game specifically made for the Switch. But now RPG 2019, they're getting more specific. I wonder at E3 if they're gonna show anything minor from it because they like to do that, Nintendo, right? They show little stuff and then they expand on it at E3. They do
I'm
things
gonna
little
say yes.
ass
Or they'll
backwards.
just
Let's say
announce
yes,
the
we see
release
it.
date again.
Yeah, or they'll just not talk about Pokemon at all at E3. Like, why do we do this stuff?
This is not like uncommon. Often Nintendo and Pokemon kind of split their news up, and Pokemon has like its own directs and stuff.
I don't think they're gonna show much from this because it's the 2019 version. That's their core game sequel
agree.
branching over. I think they may show a little bit at Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee, but that's a side version, a new spin-off game that's supposed to get people and new people into the franchise, which I think is fantastic.
I think they'll have like a 2-minute, 3-minute slot at E3 because you still gotta push Pokemon. It's one of your biggest
Yeah.
brands. So like I think 2 to 5 minutes of stuff and like that one time when they had the guy playing Star Fox in the background, you could easily have something like that with the Pokemon RPG. Maybe not full on
So,
playing it, but like them
hear
working
me
on
out.
it or
Hear
something.
me out.
Yeah.
Pokemon puppets.
Well, they did it the first
Wonderful
time
idea.
and it was a huge success. So why not do it again? Let's Force Awakens this shit up and just redo that conference. But
Nintendo, unlike Disney, doesn't like to learn all the time.
No.
Sometimes they try things over.
Couple
era. Sometimes it works
details
for
more
them.
about it. You can trade Pokemon from Pokemon Go to the Let's Go versions, but not back.
Oh
one
shit!
way.
Big decision.
wow,
There-
That's a
There's-
big decision.
that's like the American.
There is no eggs and no breeding in the Let's Go versions, and
No
there is
breeding.
battling. That's it's the same turn-based strategy. But as far as catching Pokemon, that sort of thing, it's not really like wandering into patches of grass, that sort of thing.
Yeah,
Pokemon
yeah.
are moving around out in the open.
Oh, so you gotta run
can't
after them?
battle wild Pokemon, right? It's only battle trainers.
I think.
Yeah.
I think when you catch wild Pokemon or when a wild Pokemon pops up, it just gives you the option to go and catch.
Yeah, you don't actually
Yeah.
get to battle them.
Sounds a little basic.
Oh yeah, for sure. Dude.
Yeah, but I think it's a good.
I started with a little. It
Kickstarter
sounds
for
very basic. I just wanted to see how you guys would feel
Very
about me
little.
saying that.
Sounds like the most basic thing. No.
Wow, Travis, why you always gotta one up me?
I think it's just it's a Pokemon game. They've been saying that it'll be coming, and it really seems like it was a pretty easy port from kind of the original games, which they've already remade, and just redoing it with Switch controls.
Yeah.
So
And people see the original 150 and they just
I'm
Just
on
get
it, man.
stoked.
Yeah.
151 actually. Plus 1.
Yeah.
But also not plus one. That's just
Oh, okay. Subtract 1 after that.
Some
150
strange
is
math
going
going
on.
on.
It'll come out on November 16th. For those
that is
Pokemoners out there.
that's not that super.
November 16th?
Yep.
It's a ways out there, but
So.
And that
Same
and
as
you're
Call
buying
of
a Switch
Duty.
for that?
Yeah. Oh, for sure. These.
For jerseys.
Okay.
No question.
Thinking though, I don't know if I want to do like the colors or the gray because colors are like uneven. Like if they were like two the same colors.
You can
Color
get cases
yourself.
for it though. I got colors.
You
They're
did
fantastic.
red and blue though. Like it's just. Plus,
They're very nice.
I got to play with one now. The controllers are they're tiny and
They're
awful
very
to play
small.
with.
They're
Yeah.
very small.
The nice thing about the Switch, you can literally use any controller. I use my Pokken controller
Any
to play other
Xbox
games.
One,
Yeah.
toss it out keyboard.
Yeah, but when I'm like taking
NES.
it with me to go on the train, I'm not gonna like be packing around my Pro controller.
True.
What about when you're playing basketball?
Yeah, exactly.
You leave it on the bench and you go play.
You're on the roof of a party.
Come on, boys! Play some fucking Switch.
Throw it down at the
Good
park.
stuff.
Is that anything more for Pokemon?
That's about it that I got for Pokemon.
Okay, I'm gonna.
Who says that as
say-
if it's not the only thing you
Aw,
have?
I'm sure there probably is more.
It's definitely all I got.
a low one.
You got
takes
more
60
and all.
points.
Damn.
Yeah, there are low forms for Pokemon Go right now.
Yeah. Talk about Fallout. I'm excited for it. That's my say.
I want to know why.
Didn't even say
actually.
bye
I
to the
wanna know
viewers.
why.
Oh, sorry.
She's coming back.
Just come back.
It's too late. Feeds.
Stop. Fuck.
Hey Travis,
Oh God, why these questions? They always
could
start
I
with
have
Space
a
out a
glass
little
of water, please?
No, Mom.
We're
Shot
taking
of
a
water?
break
Are you
right
gonna-
now. We
Yeah,
don't take
We're
breaks.
live on cast. Like, oh, take two.
I'm just
Yeah.
extremely
Anyone else
parched.
want some water while I'm up like the fucking housewife over here?
I think he actually just wants Travis off the cast right now. so
Yeah,
he
he's
can
gonna
say
bring
what
up
he
trouble.
said.
What is
He's
this
gonna talk
very
about controversial.
I
He needs
want
to talk about why he has to review Jurassic World and why it's
No,
the
no.
world-ending crisis.
I want to talk about Black
Take
Ops
that out of your
4.
way for you.
Oh God, good thing I'm getting water.
Black Ops 4.
While you're over there, do you want to grab me water?
That's, is
I
that,
asked you, you didn't have to.
Battle
so
Royale.
Is that a game that's out?
It's coming out October.
Coming out in October.
October 12th.
It's coming out in October. Why are they
Wild
switching from
in here.
November? Scared of
Okay,
Pokemon.
have a good night,
Whoa.
guys.
Good night, Jessica.
Bye.
Pokemon just like a giant, sort of overshadowing figure of darkness. That whenever anything else comes near it, it just gets swallowed up and lost.
Wow.
Sounds like my sex life.
Okay. Taylor. Black Ops 4. Comes
Black
out
Ops 4. Yeah, so from what I've looked into, the campaign has been scrapped.
Yep.
Which I think is actually fantastic.
So there's
Wait,
only
no. You're
Thank
not
you
a
very
fucking
much.
CNN reporter. Other people reported this. You're breaking this like you're breaking a scoop. These stories came out that
Breaking
wouldn't
a
have a campaign, and you're like, oh, look,
Confirmed.
Yeah, I
Heard it here first.
I put the fucking jigsaw pieces together on the wall. Do you need more water?
No.
He just
Well, you just-
that water.
Wow. Thank you though, Travis. It's very good water. It's cold.
But
So-
you didn't discover that. You heard it about from another outlet.
How do you know?
What? Because why did
heard
I
your
hear
window.
about it from the news first?
Did you hear from news first?
Yes, because I knew that before.
I've heard-
he was
I
doing
wasn't-
that.
I wasn't
from
gonna
him.
tell
Can I get something straight here?
It's
Is
an-
this confirmed or is this a rumor?
It is confirmed.
So, and this is,
Okay.
Dylan wasn't here for this too. When you were gone, he was like, oh, so Travis is telling me that he knows Venom's only in the movie for 2 to 3 scenes. I'm like, no, I speculate that that's why, but he's just going around saying that, like, I know.
Going around. Mid-cast, he takes the mic, just talking to people downtown.
He said like Kirkland. He's
Done it
like,
before.
well, didn't Travis tell you he's only in 2 to 3 scenes? And I'm like, no,
Yeah.
that's not like he's just lately he's been doing this. He's like,
so good.
he's the super nice version of Trump. He just takes one thing and just twists and makes it truth. Like it's so frustrating.
It's amazing.
Oh.
Take two.
We'll
He doesn't
forward it.
twist it. He just
We'll
makes it
forward
truth.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's get the color.
no campaign. Campaign has been scrapped in this game, which I think, my personal opinion, it's great. I think the Black Ops campaign at this point has gone on way too far. It's at a point now.
It's not just the
This
campaign.
is the fifth game now out
Installment.
of this Black Ops World of War series. So we don't need that many.
Here's my question though.
we
Like,
don't know,
I
but they're selling.
Here's my question though. Why, like, obviously you can say the story comes to an end. Why are they deciding to stick with the Black Ops and keeping it as a Black Ops game with no campaign rather than just rebranding the name? Keep it a Call of Duty but have a new name and come up with a new campaign. Why do you think they decided to just scrap the campaign instead of doing something like that? Because you can say people are tired of the Black Ops campaign there, but then there's new stuff you do.
I
Can I have a glass of water?
Am I
actually
just
don't
way?
I feel like
Am I
you're
just
adding
way
a,
out here?
I feel like you're
You're
adding
right at the hard end.
you added a hard end or another end on campaign. You're saying campaign. Like, it
Like
went,
champagne.
It went
Yeah.
up for
I thought I said something
yeah.
completely wrong the whole time.
Give me your
But you said it
finest-
like at least 3 times.
Give me
Yeah.
your finest campaign.
I like some fine campaigns.
Do you actually know why?
No.
Okay.
All right.
No, I think it just comes down to the fact that with
Wildcast.
with the campaign in there, I think from what they said in their developer videos that it's so much content in there that you play once, that's it, and taking it
they're
out
getting
allows them
lazy.
to add
Wow, I
so
don't
much more content in there.
They
And
can,
I think under the studios like Treyarch, Black Ops is their child, what they're working on. So yes, they could have just not named it Black Ops 4. They could have given it just Call of Duty something or rather like.
That's a great
Great
title.
title. Call of Duty.
But for whatever the reason they decided to name it 4, naming it 4 would imply obviously there's a campaign in it and it continues the story.
Yeah.
So I understand that aspect. But I'm I'm definitely fine with the fact that there is no campaign because it allowed them to put in Battle Royale mode, which I wasn't expecting.
Battle Royale.
I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, so basically...
I don't know how you guys weren't expecting that. Every
Yeah.
game for the next 2 years is gonna put it.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about this one.
NHL Battle
Yeah, but
Royale.
for...
So what? Do you have any
WWE.
details? Like how many players are going to be in this?
Mario
They
Battle Royale.
haven't released any information. They're saying they want to.
Okay, well, I said, did they have any information? Taylor,
They
it's
do
a
have
hard
information.
Really?
shape.
I want to. Okay, I want to hear what you said.
There's a whole video with them discussing it. Basically,
Who's they?
What are the
Trey.
hard facts? I want to
Hard
know what we
facts.
know
Like
100%.
hard facts is the map is the biggest map ever designed with land, air, and ground vehicles.
They've ever designed.
They've ever designed.
Them, as in the Treyarch.
Mhm.
No,
Okay.
anyone of all
In Call
time.
of Duty, you could say, when they were
Yeah.
zooming out and showing the basic scale of the map, it was massive. The fact that they're incorporating land, land, air, and sea vehicles,
Ground,
rock
ground,
vehicles.
air, grass.
All the
The
elements.
best grass you've ever seen. And guess what? Pokemon are in those
Pokemon.
grass.
No, they're not. They're on road running around.
Yeah,
Now.
you gotta catch them all.
Them throwing all these vehicles in
Fuck
this.
Pokemon.
I can't say for sure I know exactly how many players will be in it, but I'm assuming that with it being so massive, they're gonna go for the massive amount here.
Now, all right. I'm curious as to what massive means to you right now.
100.
100.
Yeah.
Now,
Which
my
is possible.
question.
Fortnite's on consoles. They can do that on consoles now.
Yeah.
I guess they've been doing that for years, but anyway, go on.
Might as well get into it over here. So my question is, because from what I've heard is that compared to Fortnite and PUBG's Battle Royale huge maps that they've got, the Black Ops one is significantly smaller. I don't know off the top of my head the exact dimensions of it, but it's about half, if not smaller, than the size of Fortnite. And Fortnite is
This
by
is confirmed information.
not confirmed.
I heard they
Okay.
said it was.
But as far as
So how do you? Why are you saying that? I'm confused. Why are you saying map size? I missed
map
something.
size, because this is speculation, and from what I've gathered online from information what I've seen, I can't say anything's confirmed.
I feel like this whole conversation has been stuff we really don't know.
No, we don't know.
Okay.
Speculation.
So I'm just curious as to what I want to say is, with all these new kind of AAA studios moving into the Battle Royale genre after PUBG and Fortnite have taken off so hugely, I'm trying to get kind of what do you think their take on it is going to be? What's the reason that's going to take players from PUBG or Fortnite and to play these games?
I think it just comes down to like how the gameplay works and how whatever your preference is. Obviously, PUBG and Fortnite have certain similarities to an extent. I think, map size, as you said, with Call of Duty's map size supposedly being half the size of Fortnite. Fortnite, you are, I think, I assume, much more mobile. Like, from what I've played, you move around that map really, really fast. You're all over the place. With Call of Duty, we're so used to playing on really small to medium-sized maps, and when you add, increase the size and add a whole bunch of other players, you're not going to be moving around that much, especially if there's teams or if it's free-for-all, who knows. I think the gameplay is going to totally change, and it'll feel like a much different experience as opposed to Fortnite. I feel like I like Call of Duty, and that's my gameplay that I'm used to, so for me, that's going to be my go-to. I played Fortnite, but like anything, like Farmville and stuff, it died off after a week for me, so...
I feel like it doesn't take any...
Farmville, an interesting comparison.
I feel like it doesn't really take anybody away from Fortnite or PUBG. I think it just brings in a few of the old Call of Duty fans to check this one out.
I agree.
But I feel like it's just now that it's not even a way for this or like Halo's rumored to have it, this and that. Like, I feel like it's not even that, we'll try to take players. It's just we'll add another thing that's hot right now, so people would buy this instead of skipping this.
What I think, so from Fortnite, I think it's quite a bit different, at least like style-wise, and Fortnite obviously is like big on like the building aspect of it, which makes it kind of different. But obviously Call of Duty is much more in line with what PUBG is like in terms of its style and type of fighting and stuff like that. I think a difference here could be, obviously there's a lot of Call of Duty fans already. There's already going to be people playing the game, interested to check out this new mode. But also I think PUBG, maybe some people's problem with it is that, did it come out in beta? Was it technically in beta? It came out in like an early stage, and it's been developing, but the classic with that is some people play it early on, think this game sucks, and they'll play it again. Whereas likely this Call of Duty version is going to be like a fairly finished product. Obviously they'll add stuff to it, add whatever vehicles and
grass.
Maybe a different map, lots of grass animations, but likely it'll be like more close to a finished product. then I don't know.
I
I
can
mean,
see it
PUBG's
being
right now is still developing and getting to that point of
Very
being like a
much.
fully fledged out game. Plus, it has big budget behind it, big enough to flesh everything out and have like really nice graphics and all that too.
Yeah. I am more than happy when they announced it, and watching the trailer and discussions video for it, it blew my mind. I think.
Why
it's
did
gonna
it
be
blow
awesome.
your mind?
It was just something that, yes, I knew games were like intrigued to try and like incorporate that into their future titles, but I didn't think Call of Duty would ever have something like that where, because all the Call of Duty games, vehicles are always something that's in the campaign. It was always small base game modes like Safeguard, Capture the Flag, all those different kinds of stuff in Call of Duty. That was their signature style. So now for them to take the approach where it's such a huge map, a different
Massive
game
map.
mode, massive map,
With
with
massive-
vehicles,
But only like half the
first
size of
person-
PUBG.
yeah. So I think that
Actually
just
more of a quarter.
that's-
Quarter map.
that really goes to show
PUBG
that
fan
Call of Duty, just as at least with Treyarch, that they're really trying to branch out and try a huge new feature for their game.
Mhm.
And if it's the last one they do, the last Black Ops, I'm totally okay with that. I'm curious
Why
to
do
know.
you think it'll be the last Black Ops?
Because
If-
maybe they changed titles, I don't know.
I feel like the thing with a lot of games now is they're incorporating huge amounts of like DLC or expansions to current games.
Oh no, you're on this kick again, right?
I feel like
Yeah, they're gonna start releasing one Black Ops or one Call of Duty, and they'll never release another one
no,
again.
but they're all different developers and studios. So I feel like this could be Treyarch's last Black Ops that they do, and then maybe they'll sit back and do something else, and then it's going to be up to Infinity Ward, Sledgehammer, and they'll pump out new Call
Well,
of Duty
I think
things.
what you guys said earlier, like you stick with Black Ops for now, the title Black Ops, because it already has like an established name, whatever story, you can already have that timeline
Fan
stuff.
base.
But then you can ditch the campaign and just go off into other stuff. So yeah, if they want to go back to like a new campaign, start with a new title. That's
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah.
I'm curious. Zombies is still going to be in it. It has to be.
It looks
right?
really
It
cool,
is.
actually.
And the other thing I'm curious of is like this
The
battle
fire.
royale. Is it like a full-on separate like segment of the game than multiplayer, and like how that's going to affect the balance of the game? Because if they have the exact same balance for battle royale and the traditional Call of Duty, smaller maps, smaller like I don't know how many players are that now, like 20 in the
massive
game or
amount.
something.
Usually
Massively
games,
massive-
it's still like
massively amount.
8 versus 8.
Yeah,
whatever,
something like
depending on
that.
the game mode.
So I'm curious to see how the balance will be affected, because I mean, first thing comes to mind is like snipers and how that if you're gonna have a bigger map, obviously those are a lot more prevalent. You got to balance them differently. So I'm curious if they will have like different balance for those.
Yeah.
modes.
Well, the thing with like
And
Black
if
Ops,
one of them will fall down in balance because they're trying to accommodate both at the same time.
yeah.
Might be tricky.
Black Ops 3 was really good with their different class system, like picking a different specialist
Sick
that comes
katanas.
with different,
Fucking sick. with
Really?
that.
coming with like
That's
different,
a step up from the bayonet that they had in World at War. So.
yeah, man, it's-
Fucking katanas. That is sick.
different abilities.
Always that animation though, so it sucked.
I feel like
I'm sorry, Taylor.
oh, that's okay.
I started this.
No, chime in.
Chime in,
So
chime
I think you make a really good point. I don't know. They haven't spoken much to how it's gonna differ from Battle Royale to the regular multiplayer system.
Mhm.
I'm curious to know.
I feel like
that's
it would
very
be
interesting.
like just like another online game mode. Don't you think?
That's what I was inclining to think.
Initially, that's what I would think.
Yeah.
I mean, Call of Duty games have traditionally not necessarily had the best balance anyway, so who cares?
One game mode has like 2 players waiting for queue.
But I'm kind of agreeing with Taylor though. Like when it was announced, I know I should have seen it coming because Battle Royale is such like an upcoming thing. But honestly, it was a huge surprise to me. I did not expect a Call of Duty game like this. The main thing for me that I find intriguing, like you said, I feel like it'll be definitely well polished compared to like PUBG. Like there's so many bugs that I still like experience with that game. I haven't really played too much Fortnite, but I'm assuming it's
Fortnite's polished as hell.
yeah.
It
Is
is
it?
really
Oh, okay.
clean. Yeah.
Okay.
I think they have a lot more players
It's a
and
much-
money behind it, so
It's a much different game than PUBG though.
Yeah.
And I would say it'll be much different compared to the Call of Duty.
Oh, yeah.
Royale. Because of its style, it's a much more, not necessarily arcadey, but it's much more of like a jump around kind of flick shooter
Mhm.
compared to that more kind of hardcore.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say COD's super realistic, but it's more realism, kind of first person based.
Yeah.
It wants to give you that more kind of realistic experience of a shooter
Mhm.
compared to Fortnite at least. So
Yeah.
I think you could almost say they're two different genres of the battle royale overall sort of thing.
I agree with that.
But yeah, anyways.
But what I was gonna say, so I feel like it'll be a lot more polished. I
Mhm.
guess similar to like how Fortnite is. I'm very curious as to how like the looting system's gonna be. I don't know if it's gonna be like you pick up perks or something, because Call of Duty has perks, right? So I don't know if it's gonna be like
Yeah,
that.
that's where I'm curious how it'll fit in with the regular multiplayer.
And like the air vehicles and stuff. I think that'll be kind of interesting. I don't know if it's just like you get like a freaking Black Hawk and you just shit on everyone. I don't know how it's gonna work.
Someone has to drive the UAV plane. Just checking the claws. Like, can someone shoot me already? I don't want to respawn here.
Like as an avid PUBG player, I'm
guy's
skeptical
wrong.
about this. I
Top
think
500. This guy's legit.
He is.
we're
He
up
was.
there.
He
We're
was.
up there.
I don't know where he is these days.
Close top 300 now.
300. Oh wow.
Anyways, but I think there's a lot of things that in the formula of PUBG that I think that aren't necessarily what you have right now in Call of Duty games. One being the projectile, having actual projectiles and not just hit scan weapons. I think that's a big thing. The whole movement, map size. There's a lot.
That's a big factor with when you actually have like a lot bigger dimensions.
Yeah,
right?
because when you in PUBG, for example, say you have a sniper, you see someone 800 meters out, you don't just instantly just line up on their head and kill them. There's a lot more to trying to kill someone at that distance, and I think with Black Ops there, because from what I've seen at least, their map is going to be significantly smaller, so you might not have those situations where someone sees someone and the other person has absolutely no chance of returning fire, because that's obviously just taking away from someone's gameplay in that mechanic. So I'm curious to see how things work in terms of looting, things that I guess PUBG has kind of made a staple for the Battle Royale, in terms of looting, how like zone is going to work to force people together, how they're going to balance guns separately from regular multiplayer. There's a lot of things that they have to kind of get right for this, for people to kind of still want that authentic Battle Royale feel.
Yeah.
And I think the one thing I have that I fear for it, I do think it's going to be polished and it's probably going to be played quite nicely with what they want. But if it's too different from PUBG, because a lot of things that I've seen people are saying online is they want PUBG but polished and done by a good studio, and I don't think this is that's what they're gonna find in a Call of Duty game, just because Call of Duty mechanics work so much differently
More of
than
an
this.
arcade, right?
It's meant to be
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, I would say Call of Duty is much more meant for console than PC too, and there's just a whole bunch of different limitations and variables there that they have to do, and I think that what they want to do with the Battle Royale, I think it will be a good mode, but it may not be what some people are looking for from the Battle Royale.
I feel like it'll be different from expectations.
Yeah, so, and I one thing I'm really worried about is how they implement vehicles, because there's the power levels of weapons and vehicles and stuff is going to be a huge factor, and how the whole game plays out. Like, if someone gets to a plane or something, how do they lose the game from there? There's going to be this terms of like how the gameplay meshes together and whatnot. So I'm curious to see how that works. Obviously it's still not early on, but they haven't released a lot of information.
I'm excited for E3. I feel like that's definitely what they'll show it off.
I want to say what I kind of want to bring this into. I've been talking a lot about
that.
Going into E3. Do you guys think any other studios are going to announce big Battle Royale modes? And
I was just thinking about
Mario.
This being as like, you know, Call of Duty jumping into having a lot more players in a game, different style. If that's going to bring over the Battlefield fans, because that's like the classic, you know, shooter on consoles versing each other, and you know the Battlefield fans obviously they get that game because they like the bigger. Game modes, bigger maps, and stuff like that.
And Battlefield has the projectiles and
exactly.
It
So
has
we'll see how they like that, or if they're interested in that, or if maybe Battlefield, at E3, maybe they have the exact same thing, just chilling in their back pocket.
That's the thing. I mean, with Battlefield, this new one, it seems like a lot of people are just upset with how it looks so much similar to Battlefield 1, and it looks more like an expansion. I would say, like it doesn't look.
But they're
more
still gonna
like,
charge you $80.
Yeah, they're gonna charge you full price. It's
Just
and
like
even
Battlefront 3 next year, baby.
There's no Battlefront 3 next year. There's no Battlefront 3 next year.
One thing I wanted to mention actually before we get too far off topic with the COD, I think if they want to put a lot of effort into the Battle Royale mode, taking out the campaign is a good idea, because the resources going towards the campaign can now be go towards
it hurts my ears a little bit, to be honest.
can go towards balancing that mode and polishing that mode individually, separately from the rest of the game. So
Yeah.
I forgot to say that in my spiel earlier. So.
I have one more thing too before we go away from Call of Duty, 'cause we're getting there.
Pump it, pump it.
3 zombie maps right off the bat that we're getting.
Get your roll for shirts right now.
One is on the Titanic, which I think is outstanding.
Really?
That's kind of
Yeah.
interesting.
Very, very
Is Jack
cool.
You know
That's
Jack's
awesome.
gonna be in there.
I love
you know
that.
Jack's.
Is it only Titanic? Because that'd be sweet if, like, for some parts you
Zombie,
have to like jump off the Titanic to get onto icebergs.
Well,
and stuff.
the trailer showed the Titanic crashing into an iceberg when
Oh,
they're fighting
spoiler.
zombies.
And then you go underwater.
Haven't
And
seen
fight
that
them
one.
underwater,
I had
and you have
no
to like
idea.
go on a boat, and it takes you to another Titanic.
It would
and
be
resets the whole
really,
situation.
really cool. The second map that they showed was them going back through time and appearing in like a Roman arena, and they whip out these swords, and the hordes like this priest does some
Nuts.
sermon thing, and it changes these slaves into zombies, and they're just cutting them up. Looks fantastic.
I love what they do with zombie maps.
Oh,
I think
and they
they-
go crazy.
I think Dylan said this many times. I think they just need to spin that off one day and just make it its own game.
I agree.
And have every map
Yeah.
polished. And
I agree.
I would buy your game.
I would buy
There's
that.
lots of people that would.
I
Like, that
feel-
sounds fun, but I'm never gonna buy a Call of
I
Duty
feel
game.
Have
good
100
with.
players in there.
100
A
players,
massive
dude.
That would be amazing.
People can
Battle
play as
Royale
zombies.
100 players.
It's like Left 4 Dead meets Call of Duty.
I feel good about this game because you know they're giving
You
a
always feel,
huge.
you never feel bad about a Call of Duty game. Come on now.
I do. Ghosts? Fuck that game.
No,
Shit.
different.
Flush it down the
I love
toilet.
it.
But-
I
love that
game
game.
of the
How about
generation.
6 months before it released.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't care for it.
We didn't know. We didn't know
Really?
him, so we can't know. That's why he's referring to a time we didn't know. Yeah.
Oh.
Personally, when I get a
love
time
it.
machine, I'm gonna go back to when he bought ghosts. They got fucking ghosts.
Taylor's
So
scared of the paranormal.
I
It's like,
think
I'm not ready for this game.
the third map we're getting is called Blood of the Dead, and it's a remake of Black Ops 2's Mob of the Dead, which you play as gangsters in Alcatraz prison. It was a fantastic zombies experience, absolutely
Still
intense. So to get a remake,
What was the map called?
Mob of the Dead,
That's what it was called in Black,
Black
Ops 2?
2, yeah.
It sounds kind of familiar, but I can't.
It was in the. Do you
In the
remember
streets,
Alcatraz
right?
prison?
Oh,
Not in the
okay.
streets. It was in the.
What was the one in the
You
streets?
remember?
I grew up in the streets.
You grew up in the
I
streets.
don't
There's a
know.
few in the streets. It was a fantastic map. I did the Easter egg on that map. I put so many hours into it.
Is that the one where in the middle it's like a big empty place? That's where the zombies come from, and then you kind of play in like a big square around? No. Because I'm picturing one that's like somewhat similar to what you're saying, but I don't think it's the same one. So
I'm excited for it. I mean, the fact that they're doing it, I feel like, you know, this game has a huge focus on the multiplayer, and we're getting a huge portion of zombies content right away. It just gets me excited for all the more zombies they're going to give us because they have the room to do so. No campaign.
Without a campaign, is the price point going to be the same as?
No, it is the same as regular.
No.
games.
Price point?
Higher.
I
$200
I'm
for the base game,
Totally-
$3,000 for the gold edition.
as a like I love
5,000
playing
get your kids
the
back.
multiplayer so much. I've already pre-ordered it. I get a little duffel bag thingy with it, and I got the
little
beta.
duffel bag. It's like that big.
The beta will be kickstarting soon, and I will get you guys my review right away because you guys care about it.
Not at all.
What's in the
What is
the
actually
beta?
what is the beta?
They haven't announced yet.
Is it just multiplayer? Is there zombies in there? Is
I don't know what it entails.
Definitely not
It's just a
zombies.
private beta, but I think
Probably.
I'm
You play
hoping
three
that
Taylor didn't get that scoop off the internet.
I'm hoping that after E3 they drop it.
Okay.
So
So
because I really really want to play it. So
Nice.
I'll kick your ass.
One
on
thing
another,
that
gauntlet
about
match.
I think one big thing that they're
Champion
taking
over
risk
here.
on there, with keeping the same price point as the previous games that did have campagons.
Campagons. Good
That didn't
term.
hurt me as much. Actually.
That's what I was going for. With the campagons, I think it's gonna drive away a lot of people. For me, like I haven't been a huge fan of Call of Duty games since Modern Warfare 2 maybe.
Middle school.
Great
So
games.
for me,
Modern Warfare 2, great
that train's already left for me.
Mhm.
But I think there's a lot of people who do enjoy that single player experience and maybe they'll do some online stuff a little bit, but a lot of people who buy the Call of Duty games for the single player experience, and I think that's going to be driving a lot of people away, holding
I
that
think
price
it's seen
point.
more often than not. What Taylor said earlier is that people play through it once and then never touch it again. That's what I
Or
always
don't
did.
play through it at all.
But then
A lot of
sometimes
people
are also
but
true,
there's also a lot of people who play it through it once, and that's the point. That's why they.
I don't know
buy
if I
the game.
agree on a lot. That's what I don't see.
I
I
think-
see it's like a 70-30.
Yeah, never the reason I would buy the
Because-
game though. When I
Yeah.
did, right?
But I also think with
Was for me.
I'm going to use
You're
Overwatch
that
for
guy.
example because it's a huge game. That's an online only game, but that one it's like $30-$40. and I think there's going to be comparisons people are making.
Overwatch is $30-$40.
Yeah.
On PC it is, not on consoles.
Okay, console maybe, but
Console
I
like
think
Game of the
I
Year
think
edition.
that's going to be an issue they run into. There's going to be a lot of comparisons between online only games that have come out before, and then them having like a full price game that doesn't have any single player value. So I think that it may not necessarily detriment that, but I think they're taking a risk with it.
But then again, if they do want story, there is a variety of other Call of Duties for them. I feel like
which
with
maybe they've already played.
Which maybe they've already played, yeah. I
There's
feel with
books,
Black
yeah.
Ops though, when you're on your 5th game in this story, I feel like for Call of Duty at least, they can tone it down and they can focus on other features. Obviously, they're
Yeah.
focusing on the features that they know are the most popular
Yeah.
with the
I
game.
feel like Call of Duty is a big enough brand that they can take this risk now, where you have
Yeah.
something like Titanfall that comes right off the bat, like we're just multiplayer.
Yeah,
Call
to
of
me
Duty
it doesn't
can
even
afford-
doesn't even sound like a risk at
No,
this
I
point.
don't
No.
think so either. I think they lose a few sales, but not
I mean, the other
much.
day you get another Call of Duty the year after,
Yeah.
probably has a campaign.
Yeah.
Boom.
And they can spend their resources on like tuning the BR, like the battle royale or
Yeah.
the multiplayer. Right?
Grass vehicles.
Battle Royale.
Grass vehicles, exactly.
Grass vehicle.
Those grass vehicles.
Ghillie
Is that all on Call of Duty there,
Yes.
Taylor?
That's
Want to talk about this Fallout 76 business?
76.
Game that's going to disappoint everybody?
that one.
Possible.
Everyone expecting a single
I wish
player
Jessica was here.
RPG
She seemed very
experience.
positive.
That is
What's
what
Jessica
someone
seemed
has
very
said.
positive towards it.
I know, that's why she
Yeah.
should have stayed.
I'm
But she
very
would have been
curious about
pissed
this
at that
game.
Call of Duty comes.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of things about it online that have no basis.
From Taylor and Ruby.
Yeah, there's not really a whole lot confirmed right
But,
now.
I mean, there's not a
Let me
whole lot
post to me.
from
But it was the
Yeah,
classic. It was the same thing that Bethesda did with Fallout 4, where they just threw up this stream. People were just going ham watching it, and then honestly, it was kind of a similar announcement to Fallout 4. But I think just because of its proximity to Fallout 4, people are just kind of confused. Yeah, I mean, it's right now it's a big mystery as to what it is. People are talking about it being a multiplayer game. I hope it's not Elder Scrolls Online type online game, just because MMOs are not really my thing. I'm hoping multiplayer in I think of like Borderlands or something, right? Where you're
That's what a lot
you're
of
in
people were
Fallout,
talking
yeah,
about,
you're
yeah.
in Vault 76. You're chilling there with your homies, and you go out and do missions. You do it with your friends. Like that. That's what I would like to see, and I think it is an opportunity to try a different story, which I think is good because I think Fallout 4 had kind of a weak story in and of itself. So I don't know, I think more just like smaller side quests. I think Bethesda side quests have always been a lot more interesting to me than the main quest stuff in Elder Scrolls as well. So I think that'd be a really fun opportunity. I don't know if they'll do that. I think there is a possibility because, I mean, Fallout 4, because it's been 3 years now, but so the reason this is a lot quicker is because with Fallout 4 they had to create a whole new engine to make the game.
Yeah.
Now they already have that engine, so they can use the assets and whatnot that they already have and do something like this potential Borderlands kind of style. And that's just kind of my pipe dream because I wouldn't get an MMO version just because I've played some MMOs over the years, but I don't know, not really my cup of tea these days with the type of games I like. So
Here's the thing though, ladies and gentlemen. Dylan's most pipe dreams with Bethesda's
Oh,
never come true.
that
so.
was a wild sentence there. No, it is true. My faith in Bethesda is going down year by year, and this is. I mean, Arcane is still keeping me up there, even though it's just under Bethesda, Softworks. But I mean, yeah, my faith in Bethesda is going down. So I really have to see something cool at this.
I would just.
E3.
I would
They
just
should at
say-
least make me want to potentially buy this.
Yeah.
Game. I should have to be. It
You gotta
should
try
have to
and
be on my
sell it,
radar,
yeah.
especially because we talked about this a few weeks ago. I don't know if Arcane's going to show anything of Bethesda, so I need something to keep me excited. It's not going to be Elder Scrolls.
Yeah.
For your expectations, because I know you guys were so disappointed in Bethesda last year, I'd just go in saying it's going to be MMO. And then
Yeah.
if it's anything more, then get excited, but I would go in with that
Yeah, I mean,
mindset.
The reason I don't think it's an MMO right off the bat is because this is, one thing that people don't think about sometimes is that there's Bethesda Softworks and that has, Bethesda Game Studios in it, has Arcane, it has the people who make Doom, all this stuff. But this is made by Bethesda Game Studios, so it's different from that. And they didn't make Elder Scrolls Online. They didn't make that MMO. They've only made Elder Scrolls and Fallout. So that's why I don't know. I think there is some backing for it not being an Elder Scrolls
Yeah.
Online game, unless I'm wrong on this and some other company is making it, and then Bethesda Game Studios is just pimping it out because it's a Fallout game. That could be it, but I don't know. It's hard to say for sure. I will say though that obviously E3 is when we're going to hear more about this. But
Next
no
Sunday?
no clip is this YouTube documentary series. They do all sorts of documentaries on games. They have an amazing one on Spelunky, and I haven't seen many of their videos, but I definitely recommend. Great YouTube channel, really cool in-depth documentaries, and they have one coming out on June 5th, the Tuesday. I think it's this coming Tuesday, Wednesday, something like that. About they have two. One on like Bethesda's history, Bethesda Game Studios and their history making the Elder Scrolls and the Fallout games. So I'm excited for that. But also one on the making of Fallout 76. So
Which is a little
I feel
strange
like
before E3.
yeah, I'm curious if the one on Bethesda's history is the one coming out on Tuesday, and then this Fallout 76 one comes out later.
That makes
But if it
sense.
does come out
Yeah.
on Tuesday, then we're gonna get some information really soon, even before E3. So, I mean, I don't know how they would dance around a documentary without talking any spoilers.
Yeah.
We'd be getting some information. So I'm really curious for that, and look out for that for sure. I mean, if it's big and there's a lot of information there, I don't know, maybe I'll do a little cast on it or something if it's worth it. But I'm not really sure what to expect. Put it on your calendar though.
Totally.
I
That's
will.
interesting. I'm definitely hoping for the more Borderlands side of it. It's kind of hard to see like an MMO because it's a big like shooter, right?
The documentary for 76 comes out Tuesday, June 12th, so after the press conference.
Yeah, that makes no sense.
Uh-huh.
So the Bethesda one comes out this Tuesday, and then the Fallout 76, so that'll make sense. So Bethesda will get to do
Yeah.
their big reveal, and then
Nice.
they can go into it. So
Either way, check that out on Tuesday. I'm
Yeah.
sure it'll be really cool. Everything I've heard from them
Mhm.
making the games in the past has been really interesting to me, and it is cool, even though I don't really love the direction they're going, to see the reason they're making
The
these changes
process
and
and
like
stuff.
how it's
Yeah.
developed as a company.
no,
Totally.
check the channel. I'm a big Danny O'Dwyer fan, so check that out.
Yeah.
Is he like the filmmaker?
Yep.
And that cool.
For me personally, I'm definitely more of an Elder Scrolls person as opposed to a Fallout.
Mhm.
For the MMO though, like I definitely didn't even dabble in it. But
I just got your meme that you sent to the group chat.
oh, okay.
He said-
Kirkland,
did he
fire
say
memes
mid-cast?
He's been doing that lately. He's like a
Does
fucking
he like
spy.
expect people to look at it?
Well, I got a
Yeah,
notification.
well.
I got a
That's great.
notification. and-
I don't know when you guys do that. I'm trying to listen all the time.
Always.
Anyway.
But yeah, for the Fallout big release, I heard it was an online thing. Definitely wasn't that interested in it, just because like I said, I'm more of an Elder Scrolls as opposed to a Fallout person.
Mhm.
But I'm definitely interested in seeing how this goes. I'm like, if it is more of a Borderlands, if it's more like fast paced and action packed, like Borderlands is, I guess that's a big like colorful game and lots of action and stuff going on.
Mhm.
I'm super excited to see that making of it though. On,
Mhm.
like you
Yeah.
said, June.
Really good
12th.
documentaries from No Clip.
Yeah, I'll have to watch some more of those. I haven't.
They have a
heard of
lot.
that.
They have a lot on there now.
That's really cool. Yeah,
Really loaded YouTube channel.
a lot of time to waste and watch that.
I get the feeling, and this is for me in general, this game I don't think I've ever going to play because just from the sounds of it, whether it's what Dylan's talking about or if it's MMO, it's just stuff that genres I'm not into. But I feel like this E3 could be really good or it's going to be really disappointing from like
actually,
this to
so
like,
you actually got Fallout 4 and I don't know, liked it enough. But
I
what
liked it
if
a lot.
what if it was that style where it's essentially like Fallout 4, same engine and gameplay and whatnot, but you get to play it with your friends. You get to play with us.
When's the game releasing? Let's just say you're telling me.
76.
Yeah, let's just say.
When does it release?
Yeah, like when
Oh,
in your
yeah.
mind do you imagine it would come out?
I'm gonna go with the hard read that Bethesda's gonna do the same thing they did with Fallout 4 in that they announce it, or they announce we have something coming up soon, then they announce it in this little stream,
Yeah.
talk about it at E3, and then it comes out this year. I'll go for that hard read.
There's
and
a
say it's-
possibility, but with Fallout 4, did you buy it on PC?
Yes.
And that's the
Because
thing.
I didn't have a PS4 at the time.
Yeah. So if you guys all went on PS4, I'd consider it. But at the same time, with me, it's Spider-Man's in September.
Yeah.
I know that's on my
Spider-Man.
I don't know what the fuck would it be? My
Radar.
radar. Thank you. And I just don't know if like an online game for me is enough to want to take me away
Red
from
Dead
that.
Online,
Plus,
man.
Red Dead is coming out. So for me,
Loaded,
it's if
yeah.
I really love the type of game, then I'll make room for it. But I'm not a big online player. With general, like Friday 13th is the most online I've done in the past year. So I like the single solo campaign, and if I got Spider-Man and Red Dead, I don't think I'll be able. Fallout 76 could be that game where it's like, oh yeah, I'll play it and then I'll fall away, and then the end of the generation I would maybe play when I'm at your house or something like that. But I just think for me, if it's just an online game, I was much more hoping it was going to be the New Vegas route of like, not just New Vegas, but maybe a spin-off, something like that. Then I'd carve out some time, maybe check out Fallout. But if it's just online with no story, I think I can pass it. But for me, it's that, and you got like the Smash and Switch, and you got already people with Sony's conference being like, oh, it's only these 4. I think there's a big chance as E3 has a big disappointment record. People look back and be like, man, there's a lot of stuff that could have been great. Because I think if 76 is just MMO, that's a big dud in the room. I think some people will cheer and clap and like that, but if it is, I think people are just gonna be like, oh, like they did this big rollout, a big teaser for just that, and then if Smash Switch is just a remastered, and then if PS4 really doesn't have any big surprises, like. I think this could be a year. That's why I'm actually going in E3 that I'm excited just because I hang on to you guys we talking about, but I'm going in with super low expectations so I can be excited because everything there's a lot. So many times I feel like the past E3s have been like, oh, we're going to reveal something big, but now they're kind of revealing it before, and then we're going to get more. And the thing is, well, if we get more and it's stuff that people don't like, it could be a big drop. So I'm interested to see the Bethesda conference. I think Bethesda, I think they've had some of the best conferences, second best every year, just performance-wise.
They always have like really good pacing. And
yes,
stuff, right?
so that's
They just
what
need to unveil a car and they're good to go.
Oh no.
76. It's a Fallout car racing game.
You know, I've been waiting. Why can't we drive cars in Fallout?
That's what it's gonna be though. It's
Yeah.
just gonna be a car racing game like the
Mario
Crew or
Kart?
something like that. Yeah, with your favorite Fallout.
I asked for the wrong thing.
Yeah, so it's gonna be interesting.
Punishment.
I think I don't know. I want to take the easy bet and just say it's MMO because there's those rumors of that. So I'll go with that to not be. But if it's this big, I don't know. Because did that Elder Scrolls Online get this big of a rollout when it came out? Like I don't even remember how it came out.
I think it really struggled getting out, didn't it?
It did because
Originally
it
it was
started as a full
subscription,
price.
right? Was it a subscription originally?
I think it was subscription
was.
actually, and then it was like a full price game, and then it went
Yeah.
free.
But
Quite a
like,
while
yeah,
path. Wait,
like-
now it's actually I hear a good game, and like people actually quite like it.
I get that too.
But yeah, of
Jessica
course.
played it.
I think she did
Yeah,
for a
she
while.
didn't like it at first.
But obviously, like that's always gonna sour the opinion if
Oh,
it
yeah,
has like a rocky
'Cause, yeah,
start
it
like
can't-
that. But I do remember it being at.
It came out April 4th, 2014, so it's not like it was right after E3. It's like right in the dead middle of E3. So it wouldn't have got maybe
Yeah.
some previews, but it didn't get like a... And Bethesda wasn't having press conferences
they
at that
weren't.
point, so it didn't get a big rollout. So
But they have, to be fair, the last 2 years they have had a segment dedicated to showing new updates.
Oh yeah, and that's why I think there's a good chance it still could be an MMO that's like, hey, now we do a show every year, let's make this a big deal, right? And now every year you got 76 updates and this and that, and I could see it being that, so I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I'm curious.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I mean, if you look at Bethesda, obviously the Elder Scrolls Fallout, the two main games, similar, action, RPG quotes. But then there are other stuff, Elder Scrolls Online, Fallout Shelter, and Elder Scrolls Legends, the card game. Like, those are all different genres, so maybe 76, maybe once again they're going to try and do a different genre.
Car racing,
Possible.
let's do it.
Yikes.
Any thoughts, Taylor, you inquired? Or you got nothing, man?
I'm more of an Elder Scrolls kind of guy. I mean,
So you're waiting for Elder Scrolls 76.
Elder Scrolls 76. About in the year 2076 when I'm 76.
Wow, that's
years
how long
old.
it's gonna take to make the game. We're not gonna make it.
Possible.
Yeah, that's where I stand.
Okay.
I, for one, you look like you're gonna move on.
He was
I
definitely gonna
remember.
cut you off.
I remember the second you spoke about it, right?
Yeah, so I'm always interested in Fallout games. I love that post-apocalyptic kind of setting,
Mad Max,
and it's always gonna pique my interest. I didn't get Fallout 4, and I didn't really play Vegas, but I played quite a bit of Fallout 3. I think for this game, I have a similar opinion to Travis. I think expecting an MMO is kind of the safest route to go. I wouldn't necessarily have a problem with that. I think that at this point they could do something pretty good with that. What I've heard, or I guess what I've seen around on the internet, and it's written as if it's like fact. I don't know if it's fact, but it's supposed to be kind of an online survival RPG. That's kind of like the
survival aspects can be part of it.
So I think what they could do rather than doing like full on MMO, it's still online that you can play with people, but it's much less sparsely populated servers. And then it's similar to Rust in a way. It's sort of kind of like you have your home base, you kind of do quests, and there's not so
They
much.
did
of
have a
story.
pretty extensive building.
Yeah, there's
feature
lots
in
of
Fallout 4.
yeah, exactly. So you capitalize on that, and it's more of an open-ended. There's no really big main story quests, but there's kind of characters you can interact.
That's
with.
actually a really
You
good
go
thought because
around
even
there.
one of the DLCs that Fallout 4 had was specifically for building stuff. Like
Yeah.
it was just to pimp that out
Especially
like
if they're
100
using the
times
same
over
engine,
so you
right?
can
Well, I
have a lot
heard,
more settings.
What you can
Well, I
do.
guess I haven't confirmed this
Yeah.
also, but I hear building is supposed to be part of the like lots
Yeah.
of sites are running that building's a part of the game.
Yeah, I mean nothing's confirmed yet.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
why like all these rumors floating around. Are
I think
are
they're gonna have a lot of
quite stalking.
potential in that you could do like an offline single player experience where you kind of build up your own area, you do some of these side quests, but the main part of the game is other people. You can have your friends join your server, or other people can freely join the server.
It's just a
Up to a
building
certain
game.
number of players, and then you
I
kind of
hope
going
so.
around and you interact. You
Tycoon
can
or
fight off
something.
other people. I'm like kind of along the lines of Ark Survival Evolved, and they've got those kind of things. And then as far as like, it's more of like an open sandboxy kind of thing, and then that just leaves a lot of room
That's-
for them to improve.
And Fallout, the world's perfect for that. Like it literally is just a giant sandbox
Yeah.
like, with everything destroyed, and you can pretty easily like just go to any new area you want.
Mhm.
You know,
It
just
definitely makes
throw
sense,
a couple
yeah.
landmarks in there. Boom, that's Detroit. Boom. this is-
Boom.
I think
Detroit.
I mean, coming so quickly off of 76 too, I think it could be more of a lower kind of a lower budget game at this point, and it have a lower price point for selling it, and because it might have a lot of open and empty kind of stuff, but that they kind of keep adding things to it to keep things going, keep adding new game modes, better
Have like mod support.
performance,
you know.
have mod support. And so it starts off as this game where people are kind of getting together, exploring, building up a little settlement, and then they add in more ways to interact with other players, more game modes, more things to explore, more quests that are in there that you can do. And so I think that is kind of what
Yeah, that's a good
I would
thought.
like to see.
I like
At
that.
least, and it's kind of a new take on the Fallout games, which I think is what they're trying to do. And with it coming out so soon after 4, it makes a lot of sense to me to go with a lower kind of budget starting game, and especially since they're branching these games into the online genre.
Just develop it there.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's what I'd like to see out of Bethesda. But obviously they have a lot of things that they can do with it. But I
It's a
think
week.
that's all.
I think that's I really like.
I really like
said
that.
they're like the things that Bethesda does well. You know, I think in some things are decline. I think their stories, not necessarily so great. But like everything you just said is really goes along with what they're really good at in
Yeah.
terms of gameplay and like level design and things like that.
And this could, and if it goes well, and especially if they kind of start off with a lower budget, as I said before, to start off with it could be kind of experimental towards if they want to do something similar to Elder Scrolls, kind of.
Yeah.
Not that might be a bit more, have a better start than Elder Scrolls Online, that kind of thing. And then, what do I want to say? I want to say on the trailer, there's obviously 76 has some sort of importance to the vault. There's a framed photo of
Hero
1776 to 2076. Does anyone know what the significance of that is?
No.
2076?
Yeah.
Isn't that like
Well, it started it was.
I think there's legitimately articles of why it's important, but I never clicked on it.
2076.
Sorry, what'd you say?
1776 and then 2076. There was like a frame with those two dates, kind of like the time,
I have
like
no
a
idea.
timeline of
It's
something.
supposed to take place, I've heard, before all the other Fallout games, I think. So, because they've said that, like, when people get out of the vaults, when you'd be getting out of the vault, it's pretty bare in the landscape, because it's like, you're one of the
Nobody's
first
out
people to
Yeah,
get out
so
there after they pop.
It kind of
Usually
makes
it
sense
goes
that
up.
maybe you get out at 2076, which is much earlier than any other one, I imagine.
I can't
But
remember.
then, also, what's the significance of 1776 then? Because I can't imagine them going off of the vault was established in 1776. That's very out
That's a
there.
long time.
So, who knows? We'll see. Maybe it's something that they reveal even more. Probably something that someone's figured out already.
Well,
online.
I don't know. I think the Vault 76 has been referenced in some of the other games, but it's never one that you've gone to, and it's just like sparse little details, nothing really that stands out. Whereas some of the vaults are, pretty intense with what happened in them, their bizarre experiments and such.
Yeah, the two things you brought up I'm interested in is pricing. I'm not going to guess pricing until I know what the game is, but my other thing I'm trying to think is, where do they place this in the conference? For me, it's either they open the conference list or they end it.
Yeah,
gonna
their
say-
conference is so up in the air for me because of Arcane. That really throws a wrench in this year's Bethesda conference for me.
I think this is Fallout 76 will open it because I think whatever
I agree.
the
I think
bigger
that
title
will-
is, whether it's Rage 2 or Starfield, whatever it is, that will close it. But I think 76 will open the conference.
Yeah.
That's your hashtag Travis told you moment.
I'll go that it closes it just to be different.
You just really want that hype moment.
I think it's less of a
Possible.
risk because if they are trying something new,
Yeah.
they open with it, and then say it's not received the best.
Yeah,
At
because
least they
if it's
have
mixed
other
and they
things-
close with it,
They have
bad
other things
taste.
that they can build upon. Whereas if they close on it, then and it's a disappointment because it's something they're experimenting
that's
on.
all
then,
everyone's talking about the end
Yeah,
of the conference.
exactly.
It's like, oh, how did it bomb? Blah blah blah. Yeah.
Either way, it's going to be a big talking point.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
I'm
It's
excited to talk about it
massive.
later.
There's
If
a lot
I
of
can
good-
make that conference.
Next week.
Next week, man. That's crazy.
Yeah. Before we go, just because today might be excited. Today, did you see that Ubisoft confirmed Assassin's Creed or Odyssey officially?
Yeah, I got a couple games.
Wait,
things
that's
to
an
talk
actual
about.
thing?
And I'm just gonna throw out the hashtag Travis told you because I said they would tease something like no, Origins just came
No,
out.
we knew
Nope.
that something Assassin's Creed related was coming.
No, because that
You
game.
said it would be a whole new game.
This is looking like it's a sequel to Origins, Taylor.
We don't know. Yes, but we don't know exactly if it's a brand new game or if it's an expansion or what they're
It's
doing.
a game. All the reports have been it's a sequel that's coming out next year, and Ubisoft just said, "Yeah, we'll see you at E3." That's literally what they just tweeted out.
I know, but they didn't say.
Another point for
You're
Travis.
not
Go to our
interpreting
E.
it
Go to our
correctly.
You're
E3.
fighting with the moderator of Assassin's Creed Universe. Travis, this is a losing
Well,
battle.
I guess
my
I should
man.
take over that page because I'm more right than him. Because when that game box dropped on because when it dropped on Walmart, you say it could not be possibly a game. You can say whatever you want, but all these news and everything, even Ubisoft saying that it's a game that's coming out in 2019. When you're like, oh, they're still gonna take a break. No, because at the end of the day, Ubisoft doesn't have that much. They're like, keep pumping the Assassin's Creed out. So it's like, yeah, they took another year off again, but like, I told you it was gonna be that. Same way next year you're gonna have Battlefront 3.
We're not getting Battlefront.
You are. You've no idea. You're
No,
just.
we're not getting
But
Battlefront.
this is the
3.
thing. Even when he's wrong now with this, he'll still like, no, it's the Battlefront 3. It's not gonna happen. This is literally Assassin's Creed Origins.
I'm not
like,
saying I'm wrong or I'm not wrong. I'm just saying it's too quick to jump to
You're
that
wrong on-
conclusion.
I don't.
All we know
I don't
is
understand
that
how these reports come out that it's a sequel, and then Ubisoft confirms says yes, those are true. How the fuck is that not a new game?
Okay, they didn't
Because
say
it's-
yes, that's true. They said we'll see you at E3.
But,
That's
like-
different. You're stretching the definition here.
They could have.
Simmer.
If it would have been a package or something like that, they would come out and put the fire out and be like, it's just something small as that. For them,
No, they wouldn't.
yeah, they would.
No, they wouldn't.
That'd be okay. So they're gonna let rumors of a new game fly out
I think
there,
you're giving
and then
Ubisoft too much credit for being very smart.
no. That's true, but they're still a company that makes successful games. Ghost
Alright,
Recon,
this
For
is
Honor.
true.
They're not complete idiots. Like, and Mario Rapids was a huge success last year. So for all these sites and big sites like Otaku to be like reporting that Assassin's Creed has a new game coming out next year, and then just be like, see you at E3. That'd be so fucking dumb. And then they come back, oh yeah, it's just a $20 expansion. No, and like all these people that are reporting this are like high up people, like a Jason Schreier. Like you probably don't even know who that is.
Honestly,
But like it's a new game. Like,
I don't know. I think if it is an expansion, let's say it's a pretty big expansion. We talk about this a lot. Origins really, I don't know, sales wise, really was like a turning point for Assassin's Creed. Got a lot of people
but it wasn't
interested in it.
huge. Like it did
No, I know,
well, but it
it's
wasn't
still,
like
it
it's
still
back
got
in business.
a lot of people back interested in the series, and it did something quite different. Taylor, take over.
Honestly-
I don't have many points. I'm trying to help you. but-
thank you.
You're so
Honestly-
wrong. And I hate that you won't admit that you're wrong. Like
Because there's no possible way to just say, oh
Do it.
yes, I
Do
honestly can confirm it's a brand new game.
all
Honestly,
every sign, no sign points to
Okay,
this
hear me out,
expansion
hear me out,
you're
hear me
talking
out,
about.
hear me
I
out.
have.
No,
I
no,
have.
no, you haven't.
I will again.
You vented,
But,
you
like,
vented, but hear me out. So, honestly, I can say that 70 to 80% of all of the facts that have dropped from this new Assassin's Creed title have mostly been fake. This little thing, CUD3, and this little snippet of gameplay, that is the only confirmed brand new thing from Ubisoft itself that shows that they're working on something Assassin's Creed related.
And the merchandise
In
going
no-
around right now.
There's merchandise, obviously, but there's always merchandise for every game. But there is no way.
game. They don't make merchandise for expansions.
Why wouldn't they? I'm
Oh,
pretty sure
what
they have.
expansion DLC got its own fucking merchandise? Please enlighten me.
I don't know. I haven't played all the video games.
That's
before.
such a
Bethesda's Nuka
bullshit.
World.
That's
Boom.
that's such bullshit.
No, but I wouldn't put it past Ubisoft to put this as a huge expansion for Origins, especially when you look back a couple months ago when they say we're not doing another Assassin's Creed Origins. We're going to be working on this game for a few years,
yeah, and
making
you
it
believe
bigger.
them. You believe them.
I don't have any reason not to.
You're Okay, well, you know what?
I-
After Ubisoft's conference, you let me know because that's what's gonna happen. Especially with them saying that it's gonna come out at the end of 2019.
I'm not.
That's an expansion.
I'm not
for
saying
Origins?
you're wrong,
No.
and I'm not saying I'm right. I'm
No.
just saying,
No.
why are you going to jump to that conclusion right
Because
now
it's
when
Ubisoft.
there's so
That's
many
what
facts
they do.
against
They don't
it,
have
though?
that many big titles, so they can only do this whole yeah, we're gonna take a break.
They
the
do have
reason they
big
took a
titles,
break from
though.
Assassin's Creed is because it was fucking bombing. So like, oh yeah, we'll take a little break. But then it's like that girlfriend that keeps coming back, like, oh, but you want to get back together now? Like, they made it seem like, oh, we're gonna just keep putting these games out every 2 to 3 years. That's not the case. It's the same thing with the Battlefront argument. When you say that they're not gonna do that, all the evidence from the past suggests that they're gonna put out Battlefront 3 and a Battlefield. They keep doing this. It's the same thing as Ubisoft. So 1 year they took a break. Great. What happened in the past? And already all these rumors, like. This was rumored months ago, and rumors, you could say some are fake, but then there's more and more coming out. There's merchandise coming out. There's an actual date. They're saying March 2019 is the date. Like, I don't believe this is an expansion pack. I just feel like, because you are believed in Ubisoft, you just want to be right so you don't think they're lying to you. But guess what? They fucking lied
Yeah,
to
but
you.
how can you say they don't have other big titles to focus on when they have massive ones? Division 2 is a huge reveal that they're going to show off.
Okay, Division
showcase.
2, what
There's
else?
Splinter Cell. They have more
Yeah,
content
but
for Ghost.
But that's not the same studios making these games. You have to
Yeah.
think Ubisoft as like the publisher behind it all. That doesn't, you have different studios making these games. There's the studio that makes Assassin's Creed.
When
right?
I say when they don't have big games, they don't have a Fallout. They don't have a Rockstar. Like they don't have a GTA or a Red Dead. They don't have a Spider-Man. Yes, people get excited for Splinter Cell. But that game is not going to be like fucking breaking records. Same thing as maybe Division 2, but Division 2 was still mixed when it first came out. It got better as it went along. But these are not these top echelon games. These are not a God of War. Like these, Ubisoft has always looked at this in the B tier video games. They're going to go, oh, Assassin's Creed's a really good game, but these are like 20 different games that are better than that. Like CD Projekt Red with The Witcher. Like, I don't put Ubisoft at that point. So for them to be making money continually, they have to rely on these franchises. I'm not saying they shouldn't do that. I'm just saying that's why I feel like it was an obvious that we're going to get a sequel here soon. And I don't know. We'll see, but like every sign points that it's gonna be a sequel to it. Like there's been every report from other things, and especially Kotaku, which is like that's the biggest game-breaking news right now. Like their scoops are, I'd say, about 90% right most of the time. Like they don't put out stuff unless they're right, and they're the ones that broke the story. So for me, once I saw it, it's like, well, this is definitely gonna be a game. Like these guys constantly fuck up E3 and get predictions out there. So. I just don't take Ubisoft or any developer at their word most of the time when they say we're not going to do this or we're going to do this. It's like
Me personally, I'm not going to just assume and jump to the conclusion until I see it, and then afterwards I will put my 2 cents in. I strongly do think that
Just
Ubisoft is they're really heavy on the approach of creating larger DLCs for their games. Like The Division, they keep these DLC waves coming and coming and coming, like Rainbow Six. It's something that they're very, very, they're becoming passionate about, I should say. And I feel like that's something they're trying to do with Assassin's Creed.
So then what happens if Assassin's Creed is a new game? Doesn't that just contradict everything you said? If they say, yeah, this is a sequel to Origins.
If it's a sequel to Origins, it's a brand new game, I think it would be a shame. I think that it would be a huge mistake on their part.
Well,
I really do.
We're about to make a mistake.
I think that it alienates a lot of the things that they've said, and it really, the fact of how hypocritical it is, I don't understand why they would do that and shoot themselves in the foot, to be honest. But again, we'll cross that bridge when we get
It's
to
been
it.
done before.
It's been done many times.
So,
Battlefront 3.
not coming.
2019.
Battlefront 3 is not coming.
2019.
They're busy
No
on
way
other
it's not
games.
They're busy with Battlefield.
Not Battlefield. Other Star Wars titles. They're busy.
Though that company doesn't make those games. They've already said the Titanfall people are making one game. The Uncharted people are.
Yeah, but
making
they were given the rights to hire up some new people for another Star Wars game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Patience, ladies and gentlemen.
Patience.
The best thing comes to those
All
who
will
wait.
be revealed.
Just wait until Ubisoft on Monday, and then EA next year when they rolled that Battlefront 3 for episode 9. Say, oh look, you can
No.
play as JJ.
Battlefront 3.
You can play as JJ.
They'll do it in this E3.
I hope they do. If they, I
I wanna play
wish.
as JJ.
I wish they teased
Hilarious.
Battlefront 3, and then
No, it won't happen.
If
If
everyone
they
hates
It's all gonna
Battlefront 2
happen.
right now. So
He just like shoots a gun loaded with money.
Fun fact, I changed the name of Assassin's Creed Universe to Assassin's Creed Odyssey. So
that's how much he believes it.
Wow.
Just,
Would you change? Have you ever changed your name to an expansion before?
Have you ever
I've
changed
done it
your
lots
name
of
ever?
times. Originally, it started off as
Not since I've
Assassin's-
known you though.
The page?
Yeah.
No, because the page started when I was in high school. So
I feel like
originally,
changing the name of the page is kind of deceptive.
no, because it focuses.
We're
more on
always
the
GeekVerse
content.
podcast. We're never like Han Solo reviews. This
Yeah,
week.
but we're,
who are these people?
We should do that one time.
that would be. But
Avengers 4 will do
So
that.
the Assassin's Creed page is focused on one game usually at a time, or the content. So when Assassin's Creed Revelations came out, it was focused on that.
But like with
and
Unity,
then-
or
Right.
whatever it was, the English one, you never changed it to the Jack the Ripper expansion.
Shot down.
Yeah, because there wasn't enough content in there to really change it. I changed it to just Assassin's Creed.
But you just
Uh,
you already changed it to Odyssey, which you have no
It's
idea.
not
how
even
much
a
content
confirmed
that is.
game. You don't even know what it is, and you changed it to that.
Yeah,
Bro,
that could
fuck
literally
you!
be
Go-
a DLC for
Screw
Origins
you!
where you can like see fucking stars, and that's like the
That
extent of
that
the
I'm
DLC.
actually I'm going for the clicks. I'm going for
Yeah,
clicks because
exactly.
the page
Clickbait.
has dropped down by a few thousand likes.
2,000.
Yeah,
That's a lot.
that's why.
Geekverse
That's
doesn't even
why.
have a few thousand likes. We couldn't
If
afford
we
that.
dropped a few thousand,
You can't
let's
be in
hear
the
it.
negative.
That's why. That's why I
Yeah.
spaced out sharing GeekVerse stuff because I noticed that's where it does take a hit. So I
Well,
look.
that's
I
their
look for
fault.
Assassin's Creed content to post following up a GeekVerse
Okay.
post. That way I can kind of give them both a little bit of something.
You're
to see,
missing
so-
out, Assassin's Creed people.
They
You're
are,
gonna be
they
stuck
are.
with your Audacity game.
Oh, Audacity.
And they're not gonna actually call it Odyssey, are they? That has to be a working
They can't.
title.
The
They call
Mario,
it Assassin's Creed Breath of the Wild.
the Mario and Assassin's Creed memes coming out right now are
Assassin's Creed
fantastic.
Assassin's
I
Creed
love
tennis.
it. It's great.
That mustache.
Could be
I
pretty
like that.
cool.
Do we have any
There's
other
nothing further.
gaming news? They announced the DC Villains Lego game. I wasn't excited for that until I learned that the main character is like you gotta create your own character. I know eventually you can play as different Lego players, but I don't like that. I never like that in wrestling games where they're like, oh, you can play story mode, but you create your wrestler. It's like, oh, I want to play as people I
My
watch on
favorite
TV.
wrestling.
Yeah, so hopefully that's not a big thing, but I will play those because Lego games always make me happy.
Sony announced the free games for June, the month of
Oh
June.
yes, I like that.
Two big ones, XCOM
that.
2 and Trials Fusion.
XCOM 2.
Trials
That's gonna be a
Fusion
big
is
one.
the easiest download of all time for me. That's
The what,
it.
sorry?
Trials Fusion.
Oh, is that the
I love the
Viking
Trials
one?
games. Yeah, they're just fun physics games. They're a perfect game if you only have like 20-30 minutes to play something before you gotta leave or something. You know, just throw down a couple levels, but a lot of fun.
Before you change the name of your Facebook page.
For you easy.
Trials.
GeekVerse podcast Trials Fusion. And then XCOM 2, I've only played a bit of the first one. I couldn't really get too into it just because it was, very similar to Fire Emblem,
Fire
and I've
Emblem,
always liked that world a bit more. But so I don't know if I'll download this one just because
I'm not even gonna add it to the library in case you want to play it sometime.
You
Yeah.
should, yeah. You can just download and delete it, and, save
Right.
it, and then it's there
this
for
is
you.
true.
Yeah.
Maybe I should.
There's so many games I've downloaded.
Oh, there's
I don't know
so
if I'm
many
gonna
games,
Play, but
yeah.
I'm
I've
paying-
heard a lot of good things about XCOM 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of XCOM 2, it got a lot of flack early on in its
Yeah.
PC release because it's very, the port, I guess, was very poorly done. There's a lot of bugs, but I know that, I've heard since release, they fixed a lot of things, and those things
They have pretty
notwithstanding-
substantial DLCs too.
Yeah,
right?
it's a very good game, and I love the first XCOM game.
I really like the
a
first one,
significant
too.
amount of hours into it. It's just
Significant.
it's just so much replayability.
Time to buy a PS4 and get the game for free.
Yeah, I could just buy the game and not buy a PS4
I'll be honest,
for cheaper.
I thought for E3, I know you guys say these are good games, so I trust you, but I thought for E3 there might be a bit more mainstream, bigger titles that were going to be free. So that's my 2 cents. Like something like when
I think
they've thrown.
XCOM, it's a pretty big one, I would
I
say.
guess
Yeah,
I just
I'll
don't
disagree
view it on the
there.
level of the
Pretty
like,
I mean, there are bigger games, but I think it's.
I see it
for
as
me-
pretty big.
Maybe it's just for me that
I'm
it's
pretty excited.
Yeah, I
yeah.
get it.
But that's what I mean. Like I
It's
feel
not
like
like
it's
seen by
divided. Where I
everyone.
feel like the past games we've got the past couple months for PS Plus have been like bigger
that's
titles.
true.
You know, like
Yeah, that's good
Until
times.
Dawn, Beyond Good or Evil. Like I felt like we were
Yeah.
gonna get something bigger just for E3. But whatever, it's fine. I'll
Motivate
Fine,
people
Sony,
to buy a
no.
PS4 right now, throw a Crash trilogy on there or something.
yeah, or the new God of War. No,
Detroit.
That'd be wild.
no, go pay for that game. Great game.
Or don't.
I have one
Wait till
quick
it comes
thing. Ted
Borrow from a
Dabney,
friend.
the creator of Pong, recently passed away, age of 81.
Legend.
He is a legend. I feel like Pong is like what's the first video game? that
Porn
you
out for
think?
the homies.
Exactly. What was that?
Pouring one out for the homies.
Oh, okay.
Did you know there was liquid in that?
Mm.
Emily's gonna.
Just
I guess you have a
It's just-
dog.
it's just a
dog
carpet.
will eat it up.
That was very intense.
I'll.
So yeah, he was one of the founders of the Atari. I
Yeah.
feel like might
Legend.
as well say it's like we're talking about video game news.
I want to say what's
I'm gonna
so
change
cool
the title of the Facebook page.
is the fact that
to
he
know
made
his name.
Pong
Don't mean
on
about
just
that.
there's no game system or anything
Oh, yeah.
to make games on. He just made it out of random
air.
electronic components.
Yeah.
And
Mysterio.
like I think that's just so wild that you take these random things with a monitor of some sort, like
Yeah.
super old stuff, and then you make a game, like a functioning game out of that. I think that's so cool.
Yeah.
And then look
Smart.
where we are now in video games.
Yeah.
It's just crazy.
You just have really high tech Pong with all these
Solitaire.
weird visual effects.
We're VR Pong.
Yeah. I'd play VR Pong,
You would?
where you're just holding a controller, but it's in VR,
Yeah.
and you're just moving the thing back.
I would just go play tennis, like in real life. At that point.
Yeah.
That's a good game.
Wow, he ripped off tennis.
True.
Or did tennis rip off him?
Thinks
The
he's
ultimate
an
question:
innovator or
chicken or the
something.
egg? You know.
Nah.
No
Yeah,
eggs.
we're redacting our shout out to the pawn maker. Now.
Nah, it's still a cool guy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Anything else?
Alright,
That's it.
That is all for me.
E3 next week, it's gonna be popping. If you like the debates we had tonight, there are gonna be a few happening during
It's gonna
E3
be
for
It's
many of the
There's gonna be some
Wild
broken hearts
moments.
and some big hype.
Yeah, either Taylor and I, one of us is gonna be right or wrong.
I'm
so.
salty
gonna
as
be-
fuck right now.
What'd you say?
I'm salty as
Well,
fuck.
you said you're solid as
Yeah.
fuck. I was like, what is that? Rage
You're
boners?
Bold statement right
I don't know.
I
I'm
never thought
solid.
Taylor would be the rage boner kind of guy.
I don't know why you're salty.
Sympathy boner.
I just wanted you to at least know that, hey, if they do this, they've gone against everything they've said, and you
That's
know what?
why I'm
I don't
salty.
want to Magneto you. I don't want to put you in Auschwitz camp and make you down and become the Magneto you are. But that's my. I just watched X-Men, that's why. But like that's what might happen. You know, Magneto was a good guy until some bad shit happened to him, and maybe that's what's gonna happen to you because you put all your faith into Ubisoft, and I just see them lie.
It starts
to
with
you.
him turning on the fans.
Yeah, guy already did Gauntlet, so it's great. But like, you know,
You know, because it's a part of me.
and then that
believes what
Lando
you're
movie's
saying.
gonna happen.
You
The
know,
part of me wants to say what?
a part of me believes you, but the other part of me is just thinking, Ubisoft, don't do it. Don't retract on what you say, because it.
Don't
Just
redact the dead guy.
Don't fucking do it.
Don't fucking do it. That's the Taylor warning.
This
I'm
Monday,
scared.
this
Don't
Monday,
like
do they
it.
do it? I don't know,
I'm
but
glad
you
I'm
can
not Ubisoft right
check
now.
out all our E3 coverage. Where Taylor Field?
You can find our E3 coverage, especially our Ubisoft coverage,
Oh,
on on with the internet connection on Facebook. Type in GeekVerse Space Podcast. You can find all of our awesome links, content, fantastic cover photos and thumbnails, and all that jazz. You know, it's gonna be great. Yeah.
I already did a bunch of plugs at the beginning, so just go to your podcast services around the world, wherever you may be. If you don't have us on there, let us know and we'll get you on there. But subscribe, like, review, head over to Patreon, support us. Lots of stuff is going to be dropping this week, but most importantly, subscribe so you can go to Facebook, go to Twitter, so you can follow our E3 schedules because we're going to be dropping when we're watching stuff. Come watch along with us.
Yeah.
Last year we had a lot of people watch along with us.
Hang out in the chat, say hello. We'll be talking all day.
Yeah, so, and then obviously there could be some serious debate. Bethesda has a big conference, possibly. Ubisoft now, I think we've made an appointment viewing.
What will
Has a big
Microsoft
conference.
do? Any new games?
Yeah, will PS4 reveal Battlefront 3? Who knows? No.
And if I get to see Spelunky 2, I might die on cast. So if you want to see me die of excitement, could be the place
I'll
to
bring my
go.
emergency kit.
Please do.
And until then,
I got you.
don't not be boring.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Later, nerds.
Yo,
I'm the
double
champion.
finger gun.
Wow.